Chapter 155. Hill leapt into the air, about to find the enemy and use the cruelest method to tear them to pieces, but he was shocked by what he saw. What the hell? As someone who always prides himself on his elegance and demeanor, he couldn't help but blurt out. In the sky, a giant interstellar warship flew out from the thick layer of clouds. On the interstellar warship, including the main cannon, all of its firepower had been activated. The densely packed cannons were aimed at his location. The second interstellar warship appeared. Then came the third giant interstellar battleship. The fourth. The fifth. 12. A total of 12 interstellar warships formed into a fleet and slowly flew towards him. Looking at the gigantic steel behemoths in the sky, Hill couldn't help but feel doubtful. This is the Freedom Federation's interstellar fleet, created specifically to deal with high-intensity large-scale wars, the Federation's sharpest fangs. Then, could it be that the Freedom Federation was trying to invade the Fushi Empire, so they passed by here, but I saw their tracks, so they wanted to silence me? Hill's mind was working quickly, but a second later, he found out that he was wrong. A voice came from the interstellar warship. Are you Hill? The Holy Church's Inquisitor, Hill? I am, Hill answered. The voice rang out again. Verify his identity, kill him. The 12 interstellar warships slowly adjusted their positions and aimed at Hill. Wait a minute, are you sure you didn't make a mistake? Hill shouted. He was about to go crazy. He knows how powerful the interstellar warship's main cannon is, and with the fleet already prepared, he wouldn't be able to escape. But he couldn't believe that the other party would mobilize an entire interstellar warship just to deal with a single person. There's no mistake, it's a routine interstellar warship inspection, and also to deal with you, the voice came again. The more he listened to this voice, the more familiar it sounded, as if it was his mission's target. Hill had already seen the surveillance footage of him talking with the Pope, so he had already memorized the other party's voice. That's right, it's that scientist. You bastard, don't use a warship if you dare, come down here and fight me for real. Hill patted his chest and shouted in disdain. The interstellar warship went silent for a while. You mean, you want me to go down and fight myself? The scientist was surprised. There are 12 interstellar warships here, why do I have to fight myself? Hill was stunned. You've come at the right time, the scientist continued. Although technological weapons can't deal with powerful monsters, we're just about to test whether they'll change when they hit people. Hill didn't know what else the scientist said after that. Finally, he saw an incomparably resplendent light. That was the firing of the main cannons of the 12 interstellar fleets. Even with his vast saint energy, he was powerless in front of the main cannons of 12 giant starry sky battleships. That was not fair. That was his last thought. This was the first time in his long life that the word fairness existed in this world. Then, the saint lost all consciousness and sank into eternal darkness. Experiment complete. Impartial goddess voice was heard. Conclusion 1. Technological weapons are still effective against normal humans. Conclusion 2. Impartial goddess first full control experiment was a success. The enemy's entire crew was wiped out. Begin return flight. Hearing impartial goddess voice, Gu Qingshan shook her head and muttered. Dying like this is really too easy for him, but to be able to cause such a heavy loss to the Holy Church, Gu Qingshan was still quite happy. The 12 interstellar fleets turned around and slowly headed back to the capital. Sir, impartial goddess drill is over in a mysterious place. The 9 Lord Prefects gathered together, silently listening to the news from the communication device. What's the result? Someone asked. The long-distance control of the fleet had a compatibility delay of 1.3%, very perfect, everyone fell silent. Which means, from now on, everything in the sky will be decided by machines. I disagree. If that's the case, who would be able to sleep soundly? The real problem isn't that, the mustached old man said. The real problem is that impartial goddess seems to have changed a bit. How could a machine be different? Someone doubtfully asked. The mech incident was an accident, another person also said. My legal team has seen the video. They all said that according to the Constitution, what Impartial Goddess did was in accordance with the logic of the machine, someone anxiously said. But it took away an entire interstellar fleet, all to deal with a single holy apostle of the Holy Church. Everyone looked at him. You have something to say about dealing with the Holy Church? Someone tried asking. That's not it, the person hurriedly explained. The main point is, it took away an interstellar fleet. Everyone finally sighed in relief, but when they looked at him again, his expression had returned to the familiar one from before. That really is a bit problematic, someone mused. How about we restart it? Restarting Impartial Goddess at this point in time, the Federation will suffer a lot of losses, the mustached old man said. Man-eater fiends are easy to deal with, we just need to kill them if they're infected. A vaccine is also being developed. The key is the man-eater fiends. As soon as man-eater fiends were mentioned, the lords all felt a shadow looming over their hearts. These monsters are evolving too quickly, and they're becoming more and more like sea monsters. That's right, there are a lot of high-leveled man-eater fiends that technology can no longer fight against. We can only use professionists, someone doubtfully asked. But why do they evolve even faster after killing their own kind or professionists? Everyone went silent. Right now we need to rely on Impartial Goddess to maintain the situation, otherwise if more and more man-eater fiends grow, we'll all be finished, Su Xingqiao said. Everyone nodded. Then, shouldn't we consider another solution? Bai Family's head asked. What solution? Zhang Family's head asked. There are countless examples in history, Bai Family's head answered. We can't, if we touch the president at this point in time, we'll be hated to death by the people, it'll greatly affect our rule, the mustached old man said. Bai Family's head smiled and said nothing. By Shaw County, a small-sized warship slowly descended from the sky, landing on the top floor of a 101-story hotel. A few dozen fully armed soldiers were already waiting. 5 to 6 professionists lazily stood behind the soldiers, whispering to each other. They stared at the warship without changing their expressions, all the way until the warship's door opened. Everyone, including the professionists, appeared surprised. He's really too young. A young man came down from the warship, looking around and commented, building a defensive outpost here. Sure enough, they're an experienced unit, newbie? A skinny man laughed in a low voice. No, not professionists, a scientist. The burly man knew the situation and explained. So he's the client of the mission, the only female in the group said. She put the dagger in her hand away. Since he's not a newbie professionist, but a scientist of the government, there's no need to show him any respect. Mr. Gu, this way please. A military officer came up and greeted him. Let's go, why are you all standing so orderly? I'm not your superior, Gu Qingshan smiled and said. Ahaha, very well, she's an easy person to talk to, the military officer silently thought. He smiled and led Gu Qingshan to the professionist. This is a specialist sent by Impartial Goddess, responsible for collecting information related to a unique man-eater fiend, the military officer introduced. Chapter 157. The burly man stepped out and extended his hand. I'm the captain of the professionist squad, Zhao Yubeng. Gu Qingshan shook his hand. Nice to meet you, I'm Gu Qingshan. I heard that the man-killer fiends here are the strongest, so I came to take a look. A light laugh came from behind. Sun Ming. Zhao Yubeng glared at the skinny man with a stern expression. It's fine, you don't need to mind me, I just feel like he's here to deal with the man-killer fiends, the voice from behind said. Scientist, ahaha, Sun Ming tried to suppress his voice, but still laughed. The officer's face flashed with anger. But Zhao Yubeng didn't look at the officer, only helplessly looked at Gu Qingshan and explained. He's a 4th-stage elementalist, so he's used to being lazy. I can't do anything about it. A 4th-stage elementalist can be considered a first-rate combatant, with a bit of a temper. No one can say anything about it. Gu Qingshan of course knows that a lot of professionists are prideful, so he didn't mind and smiled, preparing to get to work. But at this time, Sun Ming hurriedly took out his hollow brain. His hollow brain lit up by itself and started a conversation. Federation citizen, Elementalist Sun Ming, I'm asking you, do you have any doubts about this mission, or are you unwilling to carry it out? Impartial goddess voice came from the hollow brain. Sun Ming opened his eyes wide, muttering after a while. I don't really have any objections to the mission, but what does a young master like him know? He must be some noble family that sent him to the front lines to get some gold. That's not the case. Sir Gu Qingshan is the Federation's chief mech scientist, as well as the first biologist to discover the man-eater fiend and man-killer fiend virus, Impartial Goddess replied. Everyone opened their mouths wide in shock, looking at Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan sighed, saying, Don't scare him, we're here to do something. Impartial Goddess didn't let it go. Due to professionist Sun Ming's prejudice towards Sir Gu Qingshan, this will negatively affect the following work, so Sun Ming's mission qualification has been revoked. Hey, what is this? Based on what? Sun Ming was anxious. The reward for this quest was very generous. The reward was 1 million credits, and the achievement points were even more than the credits, 3 million. Even Zhao Yubang, the team boss, had never seen a quest that offered more achievement points than credit. Everyone in this team is a first-rate professionist, otherwise Impartial Goddess wouldn't have given them a mission. Everyone was determined to get their hands on the reward for this mission. Change of plans, requesting Army Colonel, Martial Eminence Wang Yen to join the team. Corresponding orders will be issued soon. As Impartial Goddess finished speaking, she turned off the call. A sincere smile appeared on the officer's face. Sun Ming took a deep look at Gu Qingshan, then turned and left. Halfway through, he really couldn't swallow this anger, so he turned back and made a throat-slitting gesture. This threatening action directly led to the most serious consequences. Sun Ming was caught by a group of soldiers. Bastard, ah! Just as he was about to curse, his curse immediately turned into a howl of pain. A steel-like fist abruptly smashed into him, breaking the arm that he had raised. A foot kicked him, sending him sprawling on the ground. Colonel Wang Yen stepped on Sun Ming's body, smiling happily. As a straightforward martial eminence, he's been tolerating people like Sun Ming for a long time now. What's the meaning of this? You want to start a war with us? Zhao Yubang quickly stepped forward, asking. Facing Zhao Yubang, who almost couldn't hold it in anymore, Wang Yen lightly said, Emergency military order, anyone who interferes will be executed at the same time. Zhao Yubang's anger was instantly extinguished. He looked at the troop. 10 Martial Eminence Special Forces soldiers were already standing up with their hollow brain in their hands. Obviously, they also received the order. Zhao Yubang felt a chill down his spine. Can I see the content? He asked in a hoarse voice. Wang Yen pressed a button on the holobrain. A screen was projected. Based on Sun Ming's throat-slitting gesture, it has been determined that he has killing intent towards Her Excellency Gu Qingshan. Impartial Goddess has ruled, to ensure that crucial research is not disturbed, for the sake of humanity's civilization, Sun Ming is to be arrested on the spot. Fine. Zhao Yubang immediately gave up. He's a smart person, otherwise he wouldn't have become a squad leader. Sun Ming's arrogant personality has already made everyone unhappy, so if he dies, then so be it. It's fine if you die, as long as you don't kill me. As a leader, Zhao Yubang had no choice but to stand up for his squad members. That's why he spoke up. Now that he's in such a situation, he naturally has to protect himself first. Impartial Goddess voice was heard. Frowny face from now on, increase the number of participants. Army Colonel, Martial Eminence Zhang Feng, here. Army Colonel, Martial Eminence Li Fei, here. 2 cold-faced soldiers stepped forward. I order you to join the squad. Listen to Her Excellency Gu Qingshan's commands and complete the mission. Yes, sir. The 2 Martial Eminence soldiers loudly replied with a smile on their faces. This mission will be especially helpful for their future promotions. Not to mention, they're both from the military, so they know very well who Gu Qingshan is. Why did it become like this? Gu Qingshan awkwardly smiled. Impartial goddess, no need to be so nervous, it's only a small mission, he said. His tone seemed to be trying to persuade her. A small mission? Everyone carefully recalled the mission description. There's only one requirement in the entire mission, to listen to Gu Qingshan's orders. I'm only following the rules of wartime discipline. After Impartial Goddess finished explaining, the hollow brain slowly went dark. Alright, we've already wasted a lot of time, let's go, Gu Qingshan clapped her hands and said. He checked the direction, pointed north and said, We're going there, we'll understand the situation on the way. Yes, sir, we'll follow your orders, the 3 soldiers replied. The other professionists exchanged glances and muttered to themselves. The group left the HQ, moving forward. After a while, they arrived at a square. Gu Qingshan adjusted the volume of her hollow brain to the max, then put it on the ground. An explosive rock song was played, breaking the silence of the square. What are you? Major Wang Yin asked. Man-eater fiends are attracted by sounds and smells. Man-killer fiends are even more sensitive to sounds, he explained. As soon as he said so, a few man-eater fiends appeared. They quickly noticed a group of people here, roaring as they rushed forward. Gu Qingshan glanced over and ordered, Kill them all. The professionists dealt with the man-eater fiends effortlessly. A few of them went up and only used 10 seconds to finish the battle. What about now? Zhao Yubang broke a man-eater fiend's neck, turned around and asked. Gu Qingshan smiled and said, Let's continue. For the entire morning, man-eater fiends were attracted one after another. The professionists didn't have any time to rest, killing for a whole 4 hours straight. The man-eater fiend corpses were piled up all over the square. Gu Qingshan looked at the time and said, Morning is enough, let's go back for lunch. Continue in the afternoon? Major Wang Yin asked. Continue. Everyone returned to the base, silently ate lunch, rested for a bit, then continued. Gu Qingshan was still playing her ear-splitting music to attract the monsters. The square once again went into killing mode. For some reason, there were clearly more man-eater fiends this time compared to the morning. For the entire afternoon, more and more man-eater fiends entered the square, putting the professionists under even more pressure. Gu Qingshan was still standing on the side, silently watching them kill the monsters. The number of man-eater fiends reached its peak during the evening. Every professionist had to face at least a few dozen man-eater fiends at the same time, so everyone's pressure was at their limit. We can't, there's too many, Major Wang Yin said. Gu Qingshan looked at the darkening sky, nodded. All right, let's prepare to return. Ah? His voice suddenly became louder as he stared at a certain direction. Everyone followed his gaze and saw that in that direction, a red man-eater fiend had appeared. It was very unique, especially among the man-eater fiends. As soon as it appeared, the other man-eater fiends all moved to the side, making a path for it. Who would have thought, not only did they not attract the man-eater fiend that often appears here, but they also got an unexpected harvest. Very good, that's the target, Gu Qingshan pointed for everyone to see. We can't, that direction is too far, there are too many monsters, Zhao Yubang loudly shouted. Wang Yin also nodded, there were over 1,000 man-eater fiends in that direction, if they go there, there will definitely be sacrifices. Wang Yin hesitated a bit, then suggested, How about we call for reinforcements? Reinforcements? Gu Qingshan's expression was a bit confused. A second later, he realized. No need, you guys stay here and protect yourselves. Saying so, a bow suddenly appeared in Gu Qingshan's hand. Drawing an arrow, drawing the bow. Flash. The red man-eater fiend let out a frenzied roar. Right after that, the bow let out a bang-bang-bang sound as dozens of arrows flew out, turning into merciless black shadows that pierced the red man-eater fiend's frenzied roar until it gradually weakened and disappeared. A notification popped up on the War God UI. Killed Elite Man-Eater Fiend experience. The notification suddenly changed. As user has chosen soul points, current energy storage method has changed to soul points system, recalculating battle rewards, killed Elite Man-Eater Fiend, soul points +2, current soul points for Elite Man-Eater Fiend. Its level isn't that high, so only 2 soul points were added. But that's not important. What's important is that the War God UI that he used so well in the cultivation world has gone through some changes to adapt to it. The game has started in reality? Gu Qingshan's heart jumped. Almost trembling, he ordered the War God UI. Unconditional restriction, begin to search for other players. Ting, search complete, no other players found, current number of other online players. 0. The monsters have already appeared in reality, why hasn't the game started yet? In the past life, the game started about half a year later. But this life is different, the monsters have already appeared, do we still have to wait for half a year? Can humanity even afford to wait? We can't just keep waiting until reality is completely destroyed. What should we do? Gu Qingshan frowned, thinking about this. On the square, there are countless man-eater fiends that don't know the fear of death. Professionists and soldiers are shouting and cooperating, using all their strength to kill the monsters on the spot. While Gu Qingshan held the night rain in her hand, silently standing at a distance, seemingly out of place with this scene. Chapter 158. Suddenly, Gu Qingshan remembered that strange space, as well as the black corpse pinned to the bronze pillar. As long as 2 worlds main 5 elements, damn it, what does that even mean? Gu Qingshan clenched his fist. Is there a way to go there again? He silently thought. In the cultivation world, the semester examination is already over, humanity is preparing for the final battle. As soon as I enter the cultivation world again, I'll have to enter the final battle. No matter how important the Cultivation Alliance's military rank is, it can be put aside for now. The best thing for me is to fight while increasing my cultivation. Once I break through Foundation Establishment and reach Golden Core, I'll see if I can go to that strange space again. Report, there are more and more monsters, we won't be able to hold them off much longer, Major Wang Yen breathlessly reported. Even though they're martial eminence, no matter how strong they are, they'll eventually run out of stamina and reach their limit. Against tens of thousands of monsters with no fear, only hungry, normal people will feel tired sooner or later. Gu Qingshan regained his senses, sighed and said, "Let's go, they don't eat the corpses of their own kind anyways, we'll come back later." He put his bow away and quickly walked back. Everyone was shocked by his archery skills, and silently followed him back. The headquarters. Gu Qingshan was using the satellite to check the situation of the square. 3 soldiers and Zhao Yubang were sitting together, exchanging glances. Wang Yen used his chin to point at Zhao Yubang. Zhao Yubang thought for a bit, then put his finger up, drew a 3, then a 1. After that, he thought for a bit, then gave a thumbs up. The 3 majors shook their heads and laughed. What he meant was, even though Gu Qingshan's strength is only a third of his archery skills are still excellent. In reality, everyone here is a martial eminence, so their eyes are quite sharp. Just now, Gu Qingshan clearly didn't use her full strength, so they can only guess. Zhao Yubang's guess is a bit exaggerated. Alright, Gu Qingshan suddenly spoke. The man-eater fiends are almost all gone, a few of you go and bring me that red man-eater fiend's corpse. Everyone looked at each other, exchanging glances. Everyone stood up and walked out. Gu Qingshan was stunned for a moment, and then she understood. The more people there were, the more places they could notice, and the safer it would be. After everyone left, he stared at the satellite projection screen and fell into deep thought. Why can't I pick things up? In his previous life, after monsters were killed, they would drop items. The players who killed the monsters had the right to pick up the items that the monsters dropped. But this time, after he killed the Red Man-Eater Fiend, the system did not prompt him to pick up any items. System, why can't I pick things up? He asked the system directly. Ding. Because you are unique, the owner of the war god you. Then how do I get the loot? Please explore on your own. You can refer to your previous experience in obtaining the war god icon. The icon of war god Gu Qingshan looked down at the UI. The first icon was war god skills. The reward for transmigrating and activating the war god UI. I can't transmigrate again, right? The second icon was War God Thaumaturgy, the reward for completing the unique storyline of a Destiny quest. Right now, under War God Thaumaturgy, there was a lone icon, Lightning. This reward came from a Destiny quest. Could it be because of a Destiny quest? I have to wait until I once again participate in a historical event that could change the world, change a character's fate, to receive the quest to activate the icon and get the loot? That's right, that must be it. Gu Qingshan silently nodded. Suddenly, a scene on the screen caught his attention. Oh no! He slammed the table and shouted, "Impartial goddess! I'm here!" From the square, gather the mech squad to rescue. The monster's level is too high, technological weapons can't deal with it. Go by some time, I'll be right there. Saying so, he glanced at the war god Yua. There's still quite a bit of sand left in the top half of the hourglass. Luckily, there's still time. The square. A gentle-looking young man was standing on top of the statue's head, habitually lifting his glasses, only to miss. Behind his back, a pair of fearsome bone spikes opened and closed like a pair of wings, dripping blood onto the ground. Humans, the young man said, even professionists are so fragile. Wang Yan supported the bloody Zhao Yubang, shouting at the hollow brain, calling for reinforcements. Calling for reinforcements. The others were also lying on the ground, their bodies covered in cuts and cut. A female professionist had lost too much blood, already fainted. A second later, reinforcements really did arrive. 20 unmanned mobile mechs roared as they flew into the square, and began to attack the young man on the statue. Bullets flew everywhere, the sound of explosions didn't stop. It's fine if they can kill him, but if they can't, such a huge commotion will only attract more man-eater fiends. Within the thick smoke, a bloody figure suddenly flashed, cutting through the mechs like a sharp blade. What followed was the sound of mechas breaking apart and crashing to the ground. All the reinforcements were as weak as tofu in front of him. The bloody figure stopped in the air, turned back into the young man, and flew back to the statue's head. This was a statue of a great aristocrat from the old age, large and sturdy. The figure was extremely lifelike. The young man seemed to like standing on top of the statue. Let me see, 1, 2, 7 professionists. After killing all of you, I can rest for the day. He looked down, announcing their fates. Suddenly, a voice came from not too far away. Man-eater fiends can eat, but they can't evolve. No matter what man-eater fiends kill, not only do they feel pleasure, they can also evolve. It turns out that even the world of demons has never been fair. Gu Qingshan walked out from the street. Mr. Gu, run! The soldiers shouted in panic. Scientist! The professionists were surprised. The young man looked at Gu Qingshan, suddenly showing an expression of ecstasy. You're just an ant, yet you have such a huge life force. This is your misfortune. The bone spikes on his back spread out, his figure disappeared. TCH, you don't know how to talk properly. Gu Qingshan turned his hand and held the earth sword. A second later, he disappeared, but the young man appeared where he was standing. The young man asked in confusion. A sword came from behind. Naive, the young man mocked. His entire body shook, countless sharp bone spikes shot out from his body in all directions. A 360-degree attack without any blind spot. His bone spikes can even pierce through the metal alloy of a mech. The wonderful feeling of piercing through flesh and blood didn't appear. Instead, a whistling sound of wind was heard, followed by an indescribable pain from his back. Secret art, crescent /. Everyone exchanged glances. Someone muttered, "Is that moonlight?" That's right, he seems to have turned into an arc of light, Zhao Yubang confirmed. His eyes were sharp. He clearly saw that Gu Qingshan didn't retreat at all, instead he became one with his sword, turning into a bright white moonlight. The white moonlight flashed like a dream, the sharp bone spikes broke into pieces, scattering all over the sky. "Arg!" the young man screamed in pain. He leapt up, flying back to the statue's head. "I know how strong you are," saying so, the young man raised his hand, spreading his fingers. A crimson-red glow floated in his palm. "Your skills are truly shocking. I've never seen anyone use a sword like you, but, dash." Chapter 160. Gu Qingshan looked at the bone spikes on his back and sighed. He tilted his head and spoke to the holobrain on the ground. "Record. A man-killer fiend's 5th stage has appeared, other than a martial saint, a 4th stage elementalist, or a deeply awakened God's chosen, no one else is a match," recorded. Beginning image input. A female voice came from the holobrain. "Furthermore, I need to remind Sir Gu Qingshan, according to your recorded battle model, Sir also has no way of winning against the opponent. I have to stall him, otherwise these people will all die," Gu Qingshan said. Impartial Goddess paused a bit, then quickly spoke. "Currently dispatching reinforcements, please hold your ground, Sir." Gu Qingshan lightly nodded. He looked at the young man and spoke with a serious expression. "Nice to meet you." The young man was a bit surprised, then replied. "Nice to meet you." Gu Qingshan then spoke to the holobrain. "Although I've been infected, a few basic human habits haven't been removed, like greeting and greeting." Recorded. Gu Qingshan looked at the young man again, asking, "Do you still remember your family?" With a bang, the holobrain was shattered into pieces by the bloody light. The young man showed a mocking expression, asking, "Shouldn't you be writing your will now? Or could it be that the words just now were your will? Seems like you do remember, but you don't want to mention it." Gu Qingshan looked at the broken holobrain and scowled. "Randomly destroying other people's things, no manners." Hearing that, the young man froze. A second later, a thick mist of blood came from his body. Streams of blood, both bright and dark, turned into flames, burning on his hand. "Bastard, you dare say I don't have manners?" The young man's blood-red eyes were filled with madness. "I'll kill you right now." The bone spikes on his back expanded again, the mist of blood attached to them, wriggling like a living pair of wings. Spreading his wings, the young man leapt up. He reached his hand out to Gu Qingshan from afar. Gu Qingshan's heart jumped, feeling an intense sense of danger. Ground shrink, activated. Boom. A blood-red flame appeared out of nowhere, blasting a deep hole where Gu Qingshan was standing. "Dead? No, where is he?" The relaxed expression on the young man's face suddenly froze. Gu Qingshan leaped up from below him and flew towards him. How strange. Did he just disappear in an instant? The young man was not worried at all about the incoming opponent. He only cared about murmuring, "But what can we do?" His body moved to meet Gu Qingshan. The two of them rapidly approached each other. Gu Qingshan pointed her sword forward, activating her secret art, water flow severance. Looking at the sword aura on the sword, the young man had a bad feeling. He suddenly accelerated, turned into a twisted blood-red light, and circled to the back of Gu Qingshan. "It's over," he said. At some point, his fingers had become as long as a sharp knife. The young man grabbed Gu Qingshan's back with both hands. Gu Qingshan withdrew her sword and slashed behind her. The sword aura on the sword dissipated, replaced by a layer of irregular lightning. This strike was so precise that it didn't seem like a sudden change of attack. From drawing, to sheathing, and then attacking again, the entire process was as natural as flowing water. The hand blade clashed with the sword. Uncontrollable, activated. "Ah!" The young man screamed in pain, his arms abruptly bent backwards. A chance. Gu Qingshan followed up with another strike. The young man couldn't control his body, but he borrowed the momentum of leaning backwards to dodge the strike. Gu Qingshan took advantage of the situation and attacked again. Boundless sword phantoms drifted around the blade. Crescent slash. Gu Qingshan's entire body turned into a white crescent sword phantom that flashed through the air. The young man was cut in half, then blown away by the sharp wind generated by the sword. Gu Qingshan landed. The entire exchange only took a few seconds. In just a few seconds, the two of them had exchanged offense and defense several times, but the victor was already decided. The group of soldiers and professionists were stunned. No one could have thought that the battle would be over in just a few breaths' worth of time. But Gu Qingshan didn't relax at all. He looked up with a solemn expression towards the sky. The two halves of the corpse turned into a blood glow and fused back together. The young man appeared in front of everyone without a scratch. So a human's skill can be this strong. He crossed his arms, tilted his head and sighed. But like I said, in front of absolute power, no matter how skilled you are, it's useless. He smirked and looked at Gu Qingshan. You're right. Gu Qingshan put her sword in the air and took out a bow. The night rain. He took out an arrow and put it on the bowstring. The young man was surprised. He was staring at the bow, but couldn't sense it at all. This caused him to be slightly surprised and bewildered. Gu Qingshan didn't care about what he was thinking and shot. Rapid fire. Riding wind. Shifting flurry. Shifting flurry. Shifting flurry. There were 10 arrows in a row. Gu Qingshan used shifting flurry 3 times in a row to cut off all of the young man's escape route. "Oh my God!" someone shouted from the crowd. No matter how strong a swordsmanship is, it's still within the realm of human comprehension, but such eerie archery is something no one has ever heard of before. The young man tried to run left and right, but was continuously hit by arrows. He couldn't help but temporarily land and hide behind the statue. "What you're doing is useless," the young man shouted in disdain. Layers of bloody light flowed from his body. The arrows stuck in his body seemed to have melted and slowly disappeared. "It's useless." At the same time, Gu Qingshan sighed and said, "The difference between their cultivation is too great. He's only using his skill to temporarily hold on." Gu Qingshan tapped her inventory bag, took out a pill and swallowed it. Her spirit energy is quickly decreasing. The number of times she can attack is decreasing, so she needs to replenish it with pills. A second later, the bloody figure suddenly leapt forward, heading straight for Gu Qingshan. Gu Qingshan raised her bow and shot again. Great shot! Bombardment! The young man was sent flying, but he didn't care at all, slowly turned around in midair and rushed down again. Gu Qingshan's bow moved, shifting flurry. The gray figures in the sky drew irregular arcs of arrows, like flying snakes, chasing after the man-killer fiend. "Ah ha ha ha, it's useless, your arrows can't kill me. I know very well how powerful the enemy's arrows are, so this time, even if I have to take some damage, I have to kill him." The young man turned into a bloody figure. His speed explosively increased. The bloody figure twisted and went past the sharp arrows, heading straight for Gu Qingshan. His hands turned into a blood-colored blade, preparing to borrow the momentum to cut her in half. The young man smirked, waiting for that moment to come. A second later, the bow in his hand disappeared. The sword was once again in his hand, pointing straight at him. At this point, there was only a meter between the two of them, the moment of life and death. The young man's speed was already at its limit. Seeing this, he knew it wasn't good. "Oh no, there's no time to dodge." Gu Qingshan took that chance and activated her sword seal. Secret art, water flow severance. Dong 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 dong. The sword phantoms condensed into a mass, exploding layer by layer like a cannon, hitting the young man 5 times in a row, leaving behind his tattered body. Bam! With a dull thud, the young man fell to the other side of the square, heavily hitting the ground, kicking up a cloud of gray mist. "Well done!" cried one of the majors. Everyone else also sighed in relief. Gu Qingshan scowled, holding her sword horizontally in front of herself. Stand up, this kind of attack won't kill you, he said. The young man moved a bit, pushed himself off the ground and stood up. What a surprise, the young man said. Unfortunately you're not a man-killer fiend, otherwise I'd want to take you as my subordinate. In his eyes, there was admiration and surprise, but even more than that, there was boundless hatred and killing intent. You can't pay me, Gu Qingshan said. Seems like I'll have to spend a bit more effort today to finish this hunt. Saying so, the young man walked towards Gu Qingshan step by step. But at this time, all the professionists' hollow brains lit up at the same time. Impartial goddess voice came from inside. Marshal Saint Zhang Zongyuan will arrive at the battlefield in 1 minute. Sir Gu Qingshan, please hold your position. The young man's pupils dilated. He grew up hearing the name of Marshal Saint Zhang Zongyuan, so his hesitation turned into fear. I can't afford to get hurt again. Although I'm currently the strongest man-killer fiend, there are still countless competitors lurking in the shadows. While he was hesitating, Gu Qingshan raised her bow again, pulled out an arrow and aimed at him. Damn it, he cursed, turned into a blood light and quickly left. Gu Qingshan waited for a bit longer before slowly lowering the night rain. He finally calmed down a bit. This battle was extremely dangerous, the other party was too strong, every second felt like he was walking on a tightrope. His evolution speed is quite fast, but he's still too immature in battle. Saying so, he tapped his inventory bag, took out a pill and put it in his mouth. His spirit energy is about to run out. If it weren't for his rich battle experience and not showing any signs of losing, the other party would have already started to retaliate. This terrifying monster is the same as a martial saint, a fourth-stage elementalist, or a deeply awakened God's chosen. It's not something he can handle right now. Just like the man-killer fiend said, his cultivation is still a bit too weak. And just like the man-killer fiend said, if it weren't for his swordsmanship being so high that the monster couldn't even take him down with its strength. If it was any other cultivator, they would have already been killed by the monster. Is the martial saint coming? Gu Qingshan asked. Impartial goddess answered. It won't be that fast, it'll take another 10 minutes. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. Then say 1 minute, impartial goddess answered. This is the newest strategy, Gu Qingshan commented. Not bad, you can even lie now, impartial goddess asked. Is that a compliment? Gu Qingshan answered. This time it is. Also, tell the martial saint that he doesn't need to rush. He can take his time. Gu Qingshan walked in front of everyone, asking, Can you still move? They nodded and stared at him, as if they were looking at a Tyrannosaurus Rex in human skin. Very good, let's go back quickly. As soon as the man-killer fiend leaves, a large number of man-eater fiends will come. As Gu Qingshan said so, she looked at the red man-eater fiend's corpse, then at the exhausted professionists and soldiers. Who still has the strength to carry this thing back with me? Me. Everyone who could still move answered at the same time. Gu Qingshan looked at them in surprise. So many people, all right, carry it. Chapter 162. Half an hour later. Gu Qingshan had been waiting for impartial goddess autopsy result. Outer layer is able to withstand damage from technological attacks. Organs and bones are almost immune to technological attacks. Dissecting with traditional scalpels, results are excellent. Using 3 professionists to attack, results are excellent. Conclusion. The higher the monster's level of evolution, the less vulnerable it is to technological attacks. Very accurate, Gu Qingshan stood up and muttered. Right now, traditional technological weapons are no longer useful, we need to change. The development of our war technology. Sir, how should we change? Impartial goddess asked. From a main attacker to a support. Please explain further. Gu Qingshan smiled, asking. Have you analyzed the recording of my battle just now? A total of 1535674 times. Then tell me, how many times did I have a better way of dealing with it? Oh no, sir, your way of dealing with it was perfect. Gu Qingshan smiled bitterly, saying, Don't flatter me, all right, there are two other ways of dealing with it that can increase the effectiveness of your attacks. Gu Qingshan continued, Yes, this is support. A machine's calculation and thinking speed is not something a human can compare to, but it's also the most objective, able to help a person improve faster. Show me your two ways of dealing with it. I want to learn them. Also, how many people are left in by Sha County? 17634, Li Tianlan said. Gu Qingshan sighed. No wonder he evolved so quickly. I remember Bai Sha County used to have a few dozen million people, but now there's barely anyone left. No, it wasn't caused by him, Impartial Goddess answered. Ah? Then how did he evolve? Gu Qingshan was surprised. He likes to kill his own kind, although he also kills humans. The ratio is much lower. That's a quick way, Gu Qingshan commented. Impartial Goddess answered. Due to the existence of this man-killer fiend, the mech rescue strategy cannot be implemented in Bai Sha County, so Bai Sha County only exists in name. Impartial Goddess and Gu Qingshan both went silent. Impartial Goddess suddenly spoke again. Sir, the martial saint is here, looking for you. Gu Qingshan stood up and walked out of the lab. As soon as he stepped out, he saw Martial Saint Zhang Zongyuan walking down from the high-speed flying shuttle. Where's the monster? Zhang Zongyuan asked. They were scared away when they heard your name. Gu Qingshan shrugged. Zhang Zongyuan's expression did not relax because of this. He shook his head and sighed. Their evolution speed is too fast. It seems that as long as someone kills them, they will continue to evolve. Yes, this is an unfair social phenomenon. Gu Qingshan said and let him in. Gu Qingshan poured 2 glasses of strong liquor and handed one to the martial saint. The two clinked their glasses and drank it in one gulp. The wine is good, give me another cup. Zhang Zongyuan frowned, as if he wanted to continue. Gu Qingshan poured him another cup. Where did the wine come from? You sure know how to enjoy yourself, Zhang Zongyuan asked. Su Cher sent it to me, Gu Qingshan answered. Zhang Zongyuan recalled a bit and said, Ah, the little girl who got the blazing angel, I have a suggestion. Zhang Zongyuan thought for a bit and said, Go ahead, Zhang Young Ho's little sister, I think you can get to know her. No need. All right, I was just saying casually, but I've had enough. Zhang Zongyuan took a sip of wine and grumbled. What is it? Gu Qingshan asked. Man-killer fiends are intelligent, and they often secretly learn our fighting skills, so they'll only become harder to deal with, Zhang Zongyuan said worriedly. That's nothing, Gu Qingshan said. I believe that for man-killer fiends, a truly perfect evolution would allow them to regain human emotions. But that's extremely rare, almost impossible. Emotions? Zhang Zongyuan scoffed, saying, What the hell, according to what you're saying, a perfectly evolved man-killer fiend can already form a society. Gu Qingshan very seriously replied. They won't, ah? What do you mean? I'm more than happy to hear a scientist's opinion, Zhang Zongyuan said. With their characteristics, as long as there are no other targets to kill, they'll be more than happy to kill their own kind. Also, I've thought of a way to get rid of them, Gu Qingshan said. Please tell me, warp technology, Zhang Zongyuan thought for a bit, then hesitantly asked. You mean you want to send them into space? That's too wasteful. The best way is to send them into the ocean, Gu Qingshan said. Zhang Zongyuan slapped his thigh, exclaiming, Why didn't I think of that? He excitedly muttered, There are more and more monsters in the ocean, and they're getting more and more terrifying. If the man-killer fiends are sent there, they definitely won't be able to win, and even if they can, they won't be able to outlast the endless horde of sea monsters, so they'll eventually die. This way we can still kill a few sea monsters, he muses. To warp the man-killer fiends, this technology needs to be improved a bit, making warp more convenient and faster. Gu Qingshan went silent for a bit, then said, I'll think of something. At this time, Impartial Goddess suddenly spoke. Sir Martial Saint, Traces of the other party have been discovered. Please attack. A pair of fearsome bone spikes appeared on the screen. The man-killer fiend was quickly flying, surrounded by a barren desert. You want to go to another city? That's perfect. A barren desert is a good place to fight. Zhang Zongyuan put down the glass, then picked it up again and drank it all in one gulp. This man-killer fiend is currently the one with the highest evolution. According to its evolution speed, it's still not a match for you. But if we want to kill it, the chance of success is less than 50%? Then what do we do? The army is being mobilized. We're about to surround it. Very well, I'll go. Saying so, Zhang Zongyuan stood up. He patted Gu Qingshan's shoulder and said, Zhang Yongho will come find you later, saying that he wants to thank you in person for reminding him and saving his sister. You're too polite. But he probably has something else to do, Gu Qingshan said. Ahaha, I don't care about you junior's business. Zhang Zongyuan laughed and left. The desert. The young man habitually pushed his glasses up, but found nothing. Marshal Saint Zhang Zongyuan. This name was too intimidating to him. At his current stage of evolution, he can already faintly sense things. He can already sense that he's no match for the other party. If the Marshal Saint comes, will I still be able to survive? The young man looked around, taking in the commotion from afar. 7 to 8 man-killer fiends of different shapes and sizes were carefully circling around him. With your puny strength, you still dare to come looking for me? The young man mocked them. I heard everything. The one-horned man-killer fiend with no eyes spoke. The Marshal Saint wants to kill you, and we, although we can't win against you, we can still stop you from running too far away. That's right, you've killed so many of your own kind, yet you've killed the least. We all think that you've failed to evolve. Another man-killer fiend with sharp teeth said. What good does the Marshal Saint get for killing me? The young man crossed his arms and asked. We don't want to live under your shadow of death, not even a little bit. A large man-killer fiend roared. The man-killer fiends slowly surrounded him. If you want to die, the young man's eyes became sharp, about to act, but stopped. He took out his hollow brain from his chest pocket and looked at the message. The almost solid blood-red glow was still surrounding him, but his eyes were glowing with a deep sense of warmth. This scene of extreme contrast caused the man-killer fiends to stop in their track. Not even abandoning a human tool, one of the man-killer fiends said. He doesn't belong to us, he doesn't belong to humanity, he shouldn't exist in this world, another man-killer fiend said. Let's go, no need to risk our lives, just stall him for a bit is enough. As soon as the Marshal Saint left, Impartial Goddess sent out another warning. The 6th wave of sea monsters has begun. East Coast, distance 890 nautical miles, unknown creature 1. Southeast Coast, distance 1007 nautical miles, unknown creature 2. South Coast, distance 1821 nautical miles, unknown creature 3, unknown creature 4. According to satellite surveillance, the 4 sea monsters are all unknown species, no relevant information available. The President has signed the latest emergency regulations, professionists mobilized. Gu Qingshan looked at the blurry image on the screen, speechless. It hasn't been that long, but more and more sea monsters are interested in living on land. They still haven't started to evolve, otherwise they would be able to live on land for a very long time. At that time, humanity would have to compete with the sea monsters for living space. Not to mention, the sea monsters came too quickly in this life. A single sea monster is enough to destroy an entire city. Without sending professionists to stop it, it's impossible. But stopping a 10-meter-tall unknown sea monster that only professionists can deal with will cost a lot of casualties. Fortunately, the sea monsters are still in a state of ignorance, so they don't know anything. As long as that disaster doesn't happen too early, the threat posed by the sea monsters should be within a tolerable range. But placing hope in nothingness like this isn't a good thing. Gu Qingshan thought for a while, then finally keyed in a set of coordinates on her hollow brain. Interstellar coordinates. Impartial Goddess asked. Yes, begin search, Gu Qing-shan answered. Understood, sir. 20 minutes later. Abnormal signal detected. Attempting to call. The other party is not responding. Tell him, Gu Qing-shan ordered. If he doesn't want to be destroyed by the interstellar fortress, reply, understood, sir. A few moments later. A thunderous voice came from the hollow brain. Damn it! Damn it! How did you find me? The old voice roared. Gu Qing-shan replied. 30 years ago, in the city where you died, 7 female university students went missing. That has nothing to do with me. The voice suddenly raised its voice. Is that so? But when you died, they all disappeared, Gu Qing-shan casually replied. I remember, they were all your most fanatical admirers. The other side went silent. After a while, the other side spoke. What do you want? Gu Qing-shan replied. I'll be frank, Mr. Liao, I have no interest in how you used a clone to deceive the 9 lords. I also have no interest in criticizing your personal life. Even the fact that you're able to live a happy life alone in outer space is already a miracle for humanity. But now that the apocalypse is upon us, I want your latest warp technology to help us survive. Chapter 163. The man called Mr. Liao was the scientist who invented warp technology 30 years ago. He crazily threatened the 9 lords aristocrats, wanting to become the 10th lord, but Impartial Goddess managed to neutralize the warp bomb and he was assassinated by the aristocrats. But the one who was killed was only his clone, while he himself lived in outer space for 30 years. In the past life, it was only when the apocalypse came that he started to actively attack the Federation, using a super-large warp device to hit the space behemoth, at the same time triggering a warp to locate the coordinates of the Free Federation. This insane act was the revenge he planned for almost 30 years, which eventually led to his whereabouts being exposed. After Gu Qing-shan said that, the other side went silent for a while. After a while, the voice spoke up again. If I don't agree, what will you do? Gu Qing-shan shrugged, saying, I know you've set up a lot of warp traps that can teleport attacks to other places, but have you ever considered that your pitiful setup is nothing compared to the entire Federation? You can represent the Federation? The voice mocked. He can represent the Federation, Impartial Goddess answered. Impartial Goddess? Wait a minute, you're the president? The voice was surprised. No, such a young voice, the Federation wouldn't have a president this young, but according to Impartial Goddess logic, the only person who can represent the Federation is the president. This is a paradox, the voice paused, obviously thinking. Which means you're not the president, but you've obtained the highest authority in the Federation? He deduced the correct answer. Wonderful! The voice became excited. I've tried it before, but my time was too tight, and the pursuit was too fierce. I couldn't break through all 30 of Impartial Goddess firewalls in time. Well done, how did you do it? His tone carried a sense of familiarity and closeness. You don't need to worry about that, we're talking business right now, Gu Qing-shan answered. Fine, so you want my warp technology to deal with those damn man-killer fiends and sea monsters? Yes, firearms won't work? Seems like you watch the news a lot. I have to ask again, are you a member of the 9 lords? What do you think? No, yes, definitely not. So, Mr. Liao, what's your answer? I want to see your sincerity first. My sincerity? Gu Qing-shan chuckled and said, I could have used biological weapons to wipe out all life on that small spaceship of yours, and then went up to search for your research results. But I didn't do that. Instead, I called you first. Luckily you didn't do that, the voice on the other side said. I placed a biological signal transmitter near my heart. Once I die, the entire spaceship will explode. Another form of sincerity, Gu Qing-shan continued. I know you're planning to intercept the space monsters that are passing by and use interstellar warp technology to send them to the Federation. Damn it! How do you know? The voice exclaimed. The news of you being alive will be announced along with this matter. You can guess how long you have left to live. Alright. Damn it. Since you're being so honest with me, I can promise you, but I have a condition. I want to come back. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan was surprised. This madman, he wants to come back? As soon as the 9 lords find him, he won't have a chance to escape. The voice stopped for a while, but didn't wait for Gu Qingshan's answer, and became a bit anxious. You have the highest authority, you have to help me. This damned outer space, it's so inconvenient to do anything, I don't have any contraceptives left, you have to help me go back. The population pressure here is too great, the resupply system won't be able to keep up. As soon as he said that, the voice started to complain. A brat like you definitely doesn't know how much pressure my resupply system and energy reserves are under. As soon as the population increases, damn it, you have to let me go back and give me some money. I want to go to bars, I want to drink good alcohol, I want to talk to young chicks. Gu Qingshan was stunned for a while, then said blankly, "Give me all the warp technology and you can come back." "Very well, send an unmanned warship. Small ones won't do, at least a medium-sized one. I have more people, Mr. Liao, I'll arrange it right away. Please wait patiently." Gu Qingshan hung up. "I have a question," he said. "Sir, please speak." Impartial goddess voice seemed to contain a hint of a smile. This is a technological madman, even now he's still fantasizing about world domination, dominating all women. Even the 9 lords are afraid of his technology and madness. Don't let him come into contact with any core technology. As soon as he returns, immediately implant a nanobomb and change his appearance at the genetic level. Give him a new identity. From now on he can only stay by my side. His women and children are also not allowed to contact anyone they know, but give them a good living. Environment recorded. Sir. Gu Qingshan sighed and said, "He's a ticking time bomb. If it weren't for the fact that I need to alleviate the current situation, I wouldn't even want to talk to him." He then went out, telling the officers and professionists about the day's monster corpses collection mission. Naturally, the professionals responded in unison. After Gu Qingshan left, Wang Yan looked at Zhao Yubang. Zhao Yubang begrudgingly said, "I'm such a piece of shit, I thought I could win against him. Sun Ming is also a piece of shit. He doesn't even know he's alive and is still angry in the detention room. I'll go kick Sun Ming's ass in a bit and tell him about what happened recently." The professionists and soldiers exchanged glances. Wang Yan shook his head, muttering, "I only found out recently that the Federation's scientists are already this impressive." Gu Qingshan returned to her room. Impartial Goddess suddenly spoke. "The battle between the Martial Saint and the number 1 man-killer fiend has begun. Would you like to use the satellite to observe?" "No need, we have more important things to do right now." Gu Qingshan went silent for a bit, then said, "Show me all the man-killer fiends we've collected so far. Categorize them according to their threat level." "Understood." According to the danger level, the escaped man-killer fiend is currently the highest threat. According to the collected information, there are a total of 3 man-killer fiends second only to him. An image appeared on the screen. A giant mountain of flesh was slowly moving in the middle of the city. Gu Qingshan frowned, looking at the giant mountain of flesh, only to see that the mountain of flesh was filled with human corpses, stacked tightly together, forming a spiral staircase. The human corpses formed a staircase that led all the way to the top of the mountain. A fat man-killer fiend was sitting at the top of the mountain, using its corpses to feed 2 man-eater fiends. 2 black man-eater fiends, considered high-tier elites among man-eater fiends. They were the fat man-killer fiend's pets. And on the entire mountain of flesh, these pets were everywhere. "Sir, the differences between man-eater fiends are also quite obvious. Do you think that man-eater fiends will evolve?" Impartial Goddess asked. "They won't," Gu Qingshan answered. "Man-eater fiends won't evolve from a biological level, but they will still grow stronger, just like how humans grow from infancy to adulthood. The better the nutrition, the stronger they will grow." "Understood. He already has the mindset to keep a dog." Gu Qingshan muttered. Next one, the light screen flashed, and the image changed to another scene. This was a city. The city was bustling with activity, the streets were filled with people. They were all standing there, waiting for something. A few moments later, 10 man-eater fiends were slowly pulling a heavy horse carriage. Wherever the horse carriage passed, the man-killer fiends there would kneel down and kowtow. Inside the horse carriage was a large piece of meat. This piece of meat didn't have limbs or facial features, but it was able to extend sharp blades of meat, skewering the man-killer fiends that were kneeling on the ground, then pulling them back. The man-killer fiends that were dragged into the horse carriage were all sucked into the meat and disappeared. During the entire process, not a single man-killer fiend screamed or resisted. The scene ended here. A highly mutated man-killer fiend, Gu Qingshan said, "This one is very dangerous. If it grows up, it'll be even harder to deal with than other man-killer fiends. Would you like to see the third man-killer fiend?" Impartial Goddess asked. "I would," Gu Qingshan sighed. In the past life, there was no warning when the man-killer fiends appeared, so no one knew. Being caught off guard, humanity suffered heavy losses. The man-killer fiend's evolution speed was too fast and too powerful. If humanity didn't have the ability to enter the game and quickly improve themselves, they wouldn't have been able to keep up with the man-killer fiend's evolution speed and not be wiped out by them. But in this life, with me warning Impartial Goddess right away, the beginning of the apocalypse was a bit better. But in this life, the game hasn't even appeared yet, so the situation is still dangerous, and it'll only get worse. The fate of humanity as a whole is at stake. Where should we go to find a way out? Gu Qingshan silently thought. The screen turned on again. It was a skeleton with bits and pieces of flesh all over its body, slowly moving forward in a desolate wilderness. Its body was giving off a faint yellow mist, turning the places it went into a barren wasteland. "This is the one that got injured and ran away after fighting against the number 1 man-killer fiend," Impartial Goddess explained. Gu Qingshan looked at the yellow mist on the monster's body and muttered, "This is a plague, that's right, the virus on its body is constantly evolving. As of last night at 7:38 p.m., human medical science is already helpless against the virus on its body. The dispatched professionists can't even get close. Anyone who goes beyond 30 meters will be infected and die. Has the general been dispatched? Because if they fail, there's no way to save them, so the general of the 3 armies hasn't been dispatched yet. Baisha County is the county that suffered the most losses in the entire Freedom Federation, because the 2 most powerful man-killer fiends are both here. Among them, Baisha County's humans died from the plague caused by this man-killer fiend." Additional note: in recorded battles, only the number 1 man-killer fiend wasn't afraid of its virus. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan asked again, "Aside from where these 3 man-killer fiends are, how are the other counties doing?" "The situation is still good. Mechs have been distributed, the number of people saved is increasing, the military and professionists are taking over the aftermath of the disaster." "What about the other countries?" "Because of your early warning, I've notified the other countries right away. All of them are doing their best to control the situation. So far there aren't any signs of it going out of control. As a side note, they've all requested the Federation to let me help them with their strategy analysis." Chapter 165. Gu Qingshan muses. "This is a chance. Do your best to analyze each country's strategy. We'll still have to deal with them in the future." "I will," Impartial Goddess answered. "Man-killer fiend intelligence report complete. Please allow Your Excellency Gu Qingshan to evaluate the 3 man-killer fiends." Gu Qingshan answered, "They're all ruthless characters. Compared to them, I'd rather the one that evolved the fastest was the man-killer fiend we fought against before." "What standard did you use to evaluate them?" "How dangerous they are to humans, as well as my own personal judgment." Impartial Goddess went silent for a bit, then said, "I have a call record here. Your Excellency Gu Qingshan might be interested." "Very well, play it," Gu Qingshan said. A series of noises came. The call started. "Mom, how are things on your end?" Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. This voice was obviously the fastest evolved man-killer fiend. Yes, you need to use your own money, live a better life, that way I can work without worry, Take care, the call ended. Gu Qing-shan silently listened, closed her eyes and thought for a while. Who would have thought that man-killer fiend was a perfect evolved one? A man-killer fiend that has human emotions, its evolution speed and level are much higher than other man-killer fiends. As time goes on, it'll only become stronger. To deal with such a terrifying monster, the best way is to be quick and decisive. At this time, impartial goddess voice came again. Sir Martial Saint was unable to kill it in one go, strength miscalculated. The man-killer fiend escaped again. Is the Martial Saint hurt? Gu Qing-shan asked. The Martial Saint is almost unharmed. The man-killer fiend is heavily wounded, but due to its recovery speed, the degree of injury cannot be used as a reference. Impartial goddess asked. Should we look for a chance to kill it? Right now? He has an emotional weakness, using a hostage to ambush him. There are a total of 31 strategies that can be used. Impartial goddess continued to suggest. Gu Qing-shan pondered and said, Let me think about it. Impartial goddess continued. Her Excellency Gu Qing-shan was the first scientist to come up with the concept of man-eater fiends and man-killer fiends, as well as a professionist who has come into close contact with man-killer fiend. Her Excellency Gu Qing-shan, please use the current strength system to categorize the man-killer fiends, so that I can use it as a reference to better judge their strength. Gu Qing-shan thought for a bit, then quickly said, Then how about we reclassify professionists from the very beginning, then add in man-killer fiends, what do you think? Recording, please continue. First, martial arts cultivators. From low to high, they are divided into Grandmaster, Great Grandmaster, Martial Revered, Martial Saint and Martial God. The Princess Goddess said, The highest level a human can reach is the Martial Saint. Martial God is an unfamiliar term, I've never heard of it. Gu Qing-shan smiled and said, Record it down first, maybe one day, when someone breaks through the limit of Martial Saint, you'll be able to classify them as Martial God. Martial God is the true realm of saints, recorded. Next are elemental cultivators. According to the number of stages they've awakened, the power of each elemental skill increases. The lowest is first stage, the highest is fifth stage. Elemental cultivators who've awakened to fourth stage can already be considered first-rate professionists. Fifth stage is the same as Martial God, recorded. As for God's chosen skills, they're also split into 5 stages. The first stage is to awaken them, the second stage is to manifest them at any time, the third stage is completely awakened, the fourth stage is to change, and the fifth stage is to evolve again. Gu Qing-shan shrugged, saying, We won't measure God's chosen skills, there are too many strange things for us to understand. Agreed, very well. Next is man-killer fiends, Gu Qing-shan said. Man-killer fiends increase their strength very quickly, but each stage is weaker than a professionist. A fifth-stage man-killer fiend can only be on par with a fourth-stage professionist, or even worse, because of their lack of fighting skills. They can't even compare to a fourth stage, and a sixth-stage man-killer fiend is only equivalent to a fifth-stage professionist. But man-killer fiends don't die easily, they're not afraid of getting hurt in battle, and their evolution speed is very fast. That's where they're strong. That's about it, Gu Qing-shan said. This is reality's power ranking system. But professionists in reality have a very shallow understanding of how to use their power, and haven't come into contact with spirit energy before. Spirit energy is the purest form of power in the world. Martial artists in reality don't know how to use spirit energy to train their body. Elemental professionists don't know how to use spirit energy to attack, and God's chosen don't know how to use spirit energy to nourish their God's chosen skills to speed up their evolution. That's why a cultivator of the same realm against a professionist can easily take on a few of them at once. Cultivators and professionists can't be compared at all, because their understanding of the world and how to fight is like the difference between heaven and earth. This phenomenon will continue for a very long time after the game starts. Only when everyone starts to train their spirit energy will it slowly disappear. Recorded. I also have to report that the man-killer fiend has once again returned to Bai Sha County. Returned? Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. On the way back, we didn't set up any ambushes. Only the way back wasn't set up, why not? We didn't have enough people, and the probability of it running back is the lowest. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. This man-killer fiend really knows how to think. Thinking about the man-killer fiend before and after, a daring and crazy idea suddenly appeared in Gu Qingshan's mind. If that's the case, Gu Qingshan clasped his hands together, resting his elbows on the table, and didn't say anything for a while. He fell into deep thought. This matter, one wrong step and it'll lead to a chain reaction that's beyond redemption. But if he doesn't try it at least once, he won't be satisfied. After a long while, Gu Qingshan finally made his decision. "Where's the martial saint?" he asked. "He's resting at a military base 110 kilometers away." "Very well, I need you to prepare an emergency rescue plan. I want to get in contact with that man-killer fiend again," Gu Qingshan said. "What you mean by contact, sir? Is it combat or verbal communication?" "Verbal communication. According to the other party's wounds, he still has the ability to threaten Sir Gu Qingshan's life. Communication is not recommended." "It's fine, I can still hold on for a while, not to mention the martial saint is nearby." Impartial Goddess spoke. "According to the relevant analysis, this matter is extremely dangerous. Why do you insist on communicating with him? If I didn't hear that conversation, I would have already sent people to surround him and kill him." Gu Qingshan laughed self-deprecatingly. "But there are some things that you can't just pretend you don't know." "I don't understand. First prepare the best protection strategy. I'm also very afraid of death." Protection strategy prepared, ready to be activated at any time. Impartial Goddess paused a bit, then continued. "This contact has been classified as S-rank top secret, other than you and me, only. The President can know about it. No one else has the authority to do so." "Very well. Thank you for your hard work," Gu Qingshan nodded. "After that, there are a few minor details that still need to be considered. Sometimes, even the smallest of things can cause misunderstandings, so he has to be careful of every action." While he was thinking, his hollow brain lit up. Impartial Goddess spoke. "Someone's here, who?" Gu Qingshan was annoyed that her thoughts were interrupted. "Your business partner, why is he here?" Gu Qingshan muttered, stood up and went out to greet him. On the rooftop of the skyscraper, a small-sized shuttle slowly descended. The door slowly opened as a man slowly walked down. He was wearing a black trench coat, as well as a pair of black leather gloves that exposed his fingers, giving him a calm and experienced look. But Gu Qingshan knows that this is all a facade. Sure enough, right after that, Zhang Young-ho opened his arms and laughed. "My dear business partner, you've helped me save my sister. How can I repay you?" Chapter 166. Being seen through, Zhang Young-ho felt a bit awkward, so he could only change the subject. "I heard your liquor is quite good. How about you buy me a drink?" "Let's go." Gu Qingshan had already turned to leave. The two of them sat down and clinked glasses. "Just say it," Gu Qingshan said. It's nothing," Zhang Young-ho smiled and said. Seeing Gu Qingshan's attitude, if he says it now, he'll definitely be rejected, so it's better to wait and see what happens first. Then drink this and leave. I have a lot of things to do here, so I'll have to leave soon, so I can't entertain you, Gu Qingshan said very seriously. "Ah, you're kicking me out just like that? Your liquor is really good, but you're only buying me one." Zhang Young-ho didn't let it go. Gu Qingshan silently looked at him, then pulled out a box of liquor from under the table. "I'll give it all to you. Take it back and drink it slowly. Can we go now?" He pointed at the box and said. Hee, you're a good friend, but it's not about the liquor right now," Zhang Young-ho laughed. "I'm saying if you need anything I can help." "You can help?" Gu Qingshan glanced at him. Of course, we're partners. If you need anything, it's only natural for me to help. Zhang Young-ho patted his chest and said. Suddenly, impartial goddess voice came from the hollow brain. Enemy's tracks detected, contact route planned. Gu Qingshan then stood up and said, I'm about to leave. If you don't want to leave, just stay here and wait for me to come back. Zhang Young-ho stopped her, saying, Then I'll go with you, no matter what mission it is, even if it's a battle against a man-killer fiend, I'll fight by your side. Gu Qingshan stared at him. Why do you have to do that? What I'm doing is very dangerous. Since we're partners, we should act like partners. Zhang Young-ho raised his head and acted like the boss of an assassin's guild. Besides, no matter what kind of dangerous people I deal with, this young master will always be able to capture them easily. Gu Qingshan paused, thought for a moment and said, Fine, if that's the case, then come. Where are we going? Where are we going? Zhang Young-ho asked excitedly. Impartial goddess suddenly cut in. Zhang Young-ho doesn't have the relevant clearance, so he shouldn't have access to S-rank top-secret information. Zhang Young-ho turned off the hollow brain and told Gu Qingshan, You can speak now. I'm going to see a person who almost killed me. Gu Qingshan thought for a while and answered vaguely. Are you really not going to tell me the truth? Zhang Young-ho said, feeling a little hurt. I have to consider everyone's feelings, Gu Qingshan sighed. Sure enough, the hollow brain automatically lit up as impartial goddess voice came from inside. S-rank top-secret information shouldn't be spread. Sir Gu Qingshan's actions are commendable. For some reason, Zhang Young-ho felt that impartial goddess voice carried a hint of happiness. Alright, then can I go? Zhang Young-ho asked impartial goddess. Having someone to look after is a good choice, Gu Qingshan also told impartial goddess. Impartial goddess went silent for a bit, then said, Allow Zhang Young-ho to participate. The relevant information is up to Mr. Zhang Young-ho's discretion. Impartial goddess and Sir Gu Qingshan can't divulge it. That means I can help? We're going to fight? Zhang Young-ho asked again. Depends on the situation, Gu Qingshan said uncertainly. You don't even need to think about it. According to what you said, that person almost killed you. Fighting can't solve all the problems in the world. You're not hot-blooded at all. Alright, Gu Qingshan shooed him out. I need to take care of something. Go greet everyone. I'll come find you after I'm done. Fine. Zhang Young-ho begrudgingly left. After he left, Gu Qingshan closed the door, returned to the table and sat down, muttering, Impartial goddess, I'm here. There's been a change in the situation. Aside from the contact plan, prepare another plan. Please explain it to me. The plan is called Kill. Also show me the map. Understood. Saying so, impartial goddess projected the city map in front of Gu Qingshan. Looking at the map, Gu Qingshan began to seriously make the arrangements. About 10 kilometers away from our meeting point, gather the mech squads at these locations, hide and turn off their engines. Be on standby. About 30 kilometers away from our meeting point, the army and professionists will form an encirclement at these locations. Gather 2 generals and have them prepare for battle at the southeast and northwest sides. Don't tell them the truth. Give them another mission. Make sure they keep their distance from us while completing it. If contact fails, Zhang Young-ho and I will enter battle mode. The mechs must arrive at the battlefield within 1 minute. The generals must arrive within 2 minutes to begin the battle against the man-killer fiend. Furthermore, I want you to prepare the video footage, send it to your hollow brain, ready to be used at any time. Understood. Impartial goddess spoke. Sir, your tactical preparations are very thorough, but I have a question. Speak. Why didn't you do that before? Even if contact failed before, we can still try a second time. As for now, Gu Qingshan sighed, I'm responsible for my partner's life, so that's why. A minute later, a small-sized shuttle landed on a secluded basketball court at the edge of the city. Zhang Young-ho jumped down from the shuttle and looked around. This was an outdoor basketball court. The ground was covered in large patches of blood. On top of a basketball hoop, half a corpse was hanging there. Obviously it was someone who escaped there at the last minute, but was still killed. A dried-up basketball was lying on the grass outside the court, covered in black blood. Countless flies were flying around it. "Then, what are we doing here?" Jang Young-ho asked. Then he went silent. A normal-looking young man walked past the basketball court with half of his body covered in blood. His face was pale, his gait was a bit shaky. He was wearing a pair of sunglasses on his nose, making it hard to see his eyes. Jang Young-ho glanced at Gu Qing-shan and reached his hand into his chest pocket. Gu Qing-shan hurriedly grabbed his hand, afraid that this action would provoke him. Seeing him stopping him from taking his weapon, Jang Young-ho made a guess. So he really wasn't here to fight, he was here to find someone. Jang Young-ho observed the young man in front of him. "Why are you looking for a guy who's covered in wounds?" Although Gu Qing-shan appears to be a friendly person, she's actually a very picky person. Did this young man almost kill Gu Qing-shan? With how disheveled he looks, he doesn't look like an expert at all. While he was muttering to himself, he heard Gu Qing-shan greeting the other party. "Please wait a moment," Gu Qing-shan said. The young man stopped, turned around, and observed the two of them. "You again," the young man muttered. He hesitated a bit, apparently considering what to do. At this point, Gu Qing-shan spoke up again. "I don't mean any harm." He opened his palm to show that he didn't have any weapons on him. "Ah? How did you find me?" "You should know that even the army couldn't find me," the young man replied. "As long as you're curious," Gu Qing-shan silently thought. Gu Qing-shan replied, "Because you still have your hollow brain with you, what does that have to do with anything?" the man asked. Gu Qing-shan clapped her hands. The young man's hollow brain lit up. "Hello, former citizen of the Federation, Yi Fei Li, I am impartial goddess." A voice came from her hollow brain. Gu Qing-shan clapped her hands again. Yi Fei Li's hollow brain shut down again. Jang Young-ho opened his mouth wide, unable to say anything. Yi Fei Li was also shocked, unable to say anything for a while. Both of them knew the deep meaning behind this matter. Even the president couldn't do such a thing. "How interesting," Yi Fei Li's eyes flickered a bit, asking, "This seems to be a secret, why are you telling me?" "My friend and I need a partner. I think you're a good choice," Gu Qing-shan shrugged, her expression relaxed. This time, Yi Fei Li was truly stunned. "Ah ha ha ha, partner?" He suddenly laughed like mad. "How long has it been since I heard that term? The other party's intentions are completely unexpected. No, any normal person wouldn't think that way." Yi Fei Li shook her head, her expression full of disdain. "My body has gone mad, but your brain must have gone mad." Jang Young-ho had regained his senses, feeling like he understood the purpose of this meeting. Firstly, Gu Qing-shan really does want to rope this person in. Secondly, this person must be very valuable. Thirdly, he said his body has gone mad. When a God's chosen reaches the fourth stage of God's chosen, their body will go out of control. Very well, this is definitely worth me following. This is... Brother Yi, please don't mind. Jang Young-ho cleared his throat, then spoke to the young man in front of him. "My partner might be a straightforward person, but he's a really good person. If there's anything he can help a friend with, he'll definitely help. If he thinks you're suitable to be our partner, then it must be your outstanding talent that moved him. Brother Yi, you don't need to worry." Jang Young-ho smiled and continued, "As long as you become our partner, there will be countless benefits waiting for you. From now on, your life will reach its pinnacle." A strange silence. Jang Young-ho still maintained his friendly, but not overly enthusiastic smile. He was very pleased with himself, his mind quickly thinking of what to say next. Gu Qing-shan and Yi Fei Li both looked at him. Gu Qing-shan's expression was a bit strange, but also a bit of approval. Chapter 167. Jang Young-ho is already in the zone, casually said. "How do I say this? I personally think of nobles as being divided into two types." The Gu Qing-shan almost coughed up blood. When Jang Young-ho tricked him, he also used the same excuse. Yi Fei Li scoffed. There are two types of nobles? Of course, the first type are those rotten old men, as well as the younger generation, those who only know how to indulge in sensual pleasures and useless tumors of society, Jang Young-ho said. I agree, nobles are indeed like that. The young man crossed his arms and nodded. Then there's the second type of nobles, those who don't consider themselves nobles, thinking that their status is bullshit, Jang Young-ho continued. Ah? That can't be right. Why not? I'm one. You see, I'm a nobleman, but I was kicked out by my family when I was 15. Why? Because they wanted to marry me. Damn it, my fiancée looks like a giant sea monster. If I were to marry her, who's going to sleep with who is going to be a big problem. So I just set fire to my house. A mansion? Yi Fei Li suddenly asked. Jang Young-ho was a bit surprised, then nodded. That's a few million. Are you willing to do that? Yi Fei Li asked. Who cares? I can't do such a dirty deal just because of my status. It is indeed dirty, but how did you make a living after that? I went to kill people, especially those who committed heinous crimes. The more Jang Young-ho talked, the more excited he became. Kill people? Yi Fei Li was attracted by the topic, so she had already put down her arms. Gu Qingshan felt that bringing Jang Young-ho here today was a stroke of genius. He silently listened to the two of them talk. That's right, then I formed a killer guild, called the Hunters Alliance. Hunter, that's a good word. Later, I met my business partner, Mr. Gu Qingshan, Jang Young-ho said. Your name is Gu Qingshan? Yi Fei Li asked. That's right, Gu Qingshan answered. Yi Fei Li looked at Jang Young-ho, then back at him, and asked, So what do you want from me today? After a moment of silence, Gu Qingshan said, I don't think it's a big deal to kill people, as long as they deserve to die. Continue. So I still want to invite you to be our partner. Me? But it doesn't matter. In fact, this matter is beneficial to both you and me. What are my benefits? Impartial goddess told me that your mother is sick. Very sick, Gu Qingshan said. Yi Fei Li's expression immediately changed, and she hurriedly said, Her illness is acting up again? Didn't I transfer money to her? Why isn't she going to see it? Because she's saving the money, wanting to save it for you along with her pension money, Gu Qingshan said. Perhaps you want to see what happened yesterday afternoon. He clapped his hands. The hollow brain lit up. A screen was projected in the air. A stretcher was being carried out from a certain apartment building, on top of which was a haggard middle-aged woman. Her hair was already half white, her skin was sagging, wrinkles had already appeared on her face. Obviously, the pressure of life had left a lot of deep marks on her body. The doctor angrily walked next to the stretcher, saying, I told you to treat her but you refused. Are you that reluctant to part with that money? The middle-aged woman struggled to smile, saying, I'm just an old woman, it doesn't matter how long I live, that money is for my son. The video ended. The screen closed. Yi Fei Li was stunned for a bit, then suddenly took out her hollow brain, trying to operate something. A notification sounded. User has been logged out, unable to operate Federation account. Aard. Yi Fei Li screamed, throwing her hollow brain to the ground. He suddenly turned around, took off his sunglasses, and raised his head. Hey bro, we're both men, what are you crying for? Jang Young-ho loudly called out. Gu Qingshan anxiously glared at him. Jang Young-ho patted his chest, silently mouthing, I'll take care of it. Listen to me, this is a small matter. Jang Young-ho lit a cigarette for himself, ignoring the fact that the young man in front of him was wearing his sunglasses and abruptly turned around to stare at him. He continued, Right now, the best way to save lives is to rearrange and repair the genes on a genetic level. Rearranging and repairing genes will allow a person to live a long life. But this way, society is unfair, the population of humans explodes, the pressure on the planet is too great, so it's never been allowed. He took another puff of his cigarette. Not to mention, a single deep genetic repair costs an astronomical amount of credits, enough to buy half a city. Even impartial goddess doesn't allow this kind of repair. Jang Young-ho put his elbow on Gu Qingshan's shoulder, then changed the subject. But the two of us, both black and white, there's nothing in the Federation that we can't handle. The price of lying to me will be very heavy. Yi Fei evaluated the two of them and said, I have money. Jang Young-ho pointed at himself, then at Gu Qingshan. He has power. You saw it just now. Impartial goddess is like his mistress. That's why if you join us, you'll have an endless supply of money, as well as privileges that others can't enjoy. You'll also be able to use the Federation's technology to save your mother, Gu Qingshan added. Join us, I'll definitely make sure your mother gets better as soon as possible. He sincerely looked at her and said. Yi Fei just looked at him without saying anything. Become our partner, your mother is my mother, I'll take care of her sickness. Jang Young-ho suddenly raised his voice, thumping his chest as he promised. Yi Fei scowled, hesitating. I'm not the same as you, every day I have to kill. Jang Young-ho raised his eyebrows. No problem. Gu Qingshan quickly followed up. Many of the man-killer fiends are getting stronger and stronger, we need your help to kill them, Gu Qingshan continued. Truthfully, a lot of evolutions go wrong. Only by keeping their emotions and memories intact can they be considered a perfect evolution, allowing them to go very far in the future. With how high your rank is, you should be able to temporarily resist that thought. Temporarily, that's right, I can act like a starving person, using my mind to resist the thought, but not for too long, Yi Fei replied. Gu Qingshan clapped her hands, saying, As you evolve, you'll gain more and more self-control. Of course, if you want to continue evolving, you'll still have to do that. Listening to their conversation, Jang Young-ho seemed to have understood something. Evolution? Skill evolution? This guy, he's already reached the level of skill evolution? This is the highest level of God's chosen skill. Really, no wonder he almost killed Gu Qingshan. It was truly impressive. With such a powerful ally, no wonder Gu Qingshan's attitude is so serious and sincere. No, such a powerful person, I have to rope him in. Hey man, with such a good offer, what are you hesitating for? Accept it, then we'll go open some champagne to celebrate. Today I'll be the host. We'll have one-stop service tonight. Jang Young-ho held a cigarette in his mouth, opened his arms and smiled enthusiastically. Yi Fei was stunned for a while. He took out a piece of jade from his chest, rubbed it in his hand for a while. What do you want me to do for you? He stared at the jade and asked without looking up. Kill people, to be exact. Kill those man-killer fiends, Gu Qingshan answered. Gu Qingshan continued. From now on, I'll leave the killing business to you. I'll take care of everything else. Is there a subordinate relationship between us? No, it's a partnership. If there's good stuff, we'll split it together. If there's danger, we'll face it together. Yi Fei slightly nodded, then asked, What if I can't control myself? I'll help you control yourself, you? Yi Fei smiled, a bit unconvinced. I have a way you have to give yourself a bit more confidence. You're not afraid of being discovered by others if you're with me? Yi Fei asked. In life, if you want to do something, you have to take some risks, Gu Qingshan answered. Hearing that, Yi Fei lowered his eyes and didn't say anything. Gu Qingshan continued, With impartial goddess here, we'll be able to analyze you in detail. If we can isolate your problem from the genetic level, I'm sure you'll still be able to live with your mother. He spoke with a slow but firm tone. There's no obstacle that can't be overcome. Even if the crisis is over, I'll be able to create a large-scale slaughterhouse just for you. If that's the case, I'll join, Yi Fei finally said. Gu Qingshan's heart finally calmed down. He clenched his fist tightly, his heart filled with excitement, wanting to shout out loud, wanting to cheer. In the entire 10 years of the apocalypse, not a single man-killer fiend has ever been able to live in peace with humanity. This is a historic step, the choice of humanity's fate, a miracle of evolution, a change that billions of living beings in the past life couldn't believe. Then, please save my mother, Yi Fei said. Gu Shan regained his composure and spoke. Impartial goddess, I'm here. His hollow brain lit up. You heard it all? I did, but the amount of authority, resources, and manpower needed for a deeper genetic repair is uncountable. I'll need a week to prepare. Then we'll have to protect Yi Fei Li's mother's life first. That won't be a problem. Exchange merit from my personal account. Gather enough funds to allow Yi Fei Li's mother to live a better life. Understood, impartial goddess spoke. Following the treatment of aristocrats, we're currently making the necessary arrangements. Gu Shan looked at Yi Fei Li. You heard that? Yi Fei Li slowly nodded. Later on, you can go see her, Gu Shan said. Got it, Yi Fei Li replied. As for now, Gu Shan thought for a bit, then said, My people have already seen you. You'll only cause unnecessary trouble if you go. He looked at Zhang Yongho. Do you have a place? Give him a place to rest, leave it to me. Zhang Yongho looked up. Since you're my partner, you'll naturally receive royal treatment. At this point, Gu Shan's expression changed. A line of glowing text appeared on the war god UI. Unknown changes have occurred to the current world's spacetime, affecting the user's time flow. Please immediately enter the cultivation world to calm down the fluctuation of your time flow. What does that mean? Gu Shan doubtfully looked at that line of text, then silently asked the system. Why would the current world's spacetime change? What will be the specific effects? Ting. The system answered. Well, external force similar to the appearance of the sea monsters and man-eater fiends. Then why is it that when the sea monsters and man-eater fiends appeared, my time flow wasn't affected, but now? Gu Shan pursued. Chapter 169. Gu Shan pursed his lips. After a while, he asked, System, what exactly is going to happen? The system can only sense the change in spacetime. It can't find out the truth. Please search for the user yourself. I want to, but you're telling me to go to the cultivation world. If the user doesn't enter the cultivation world, the user's time flow will be affected by unpredictable and severe consequences. Gu Shan shook his head helplessly, about to say something else, but it was too late. Because another line of text popped up from the system. Please immediately enter the cultivation world to avoid the change in spacetime. Final countdown of 30 seconds begins. 30, 29, 28. Gu Shan had no choice but to turn around, patting Zhang Yongho's shoulder. I'll leave him to you. I have something urgent to do. I'll come find you when I get back. He nodded to Yi Fei Li, turned around and ran away. After turning a corner, Gu Shan called. Impartial goddess, I'm here. Protect them for me. Yes, sir. Please be assured. The screen flashed and Gu Shan disappeared from reality. On the other side, on the football field, Zhang Yongho shook his head and complained. I didn't even finish and that brat already ran away. What a rush, he then excitedly said. Ignore him for now, let's go. Brother, I'll take you to a good place. It'll definitely be the luxury of an ancient emperor. I guarantee it'll be unforgettable. As long as I can rest. Yi Fei Li looked at his wounds and said. Zhang Yongho quickly walked forward, enthusiastically saying, Let me introduce myself again. I'm the boss of the Federation's #1 Hitman Guild, Zhang Yongho. I hope to have a pleasant cooperation from now on. He extended his hand. Seeing how enthusiastic he was, Yi Fei Li also took off his sunglasses, revealing a pair of bloodshot eyes. He looked at Zhang Yongho with a serious expression, then shook his hand. Nice to meet you. I'm the world's #1 man-killer fiend, Yi Fei Li. Their eyes met. Zhang Yongho stared at him with his eyes wide open, beads of cold sweat forming on his forehead. Scenes of what had happened flashed through his mind. This time, he really understood. Cold sweat trickled down his forehead, and Zhang Yongho could not help but shiver. He tried to pull his hand back, but he couldn't. Yi Fei Li was holding his hand tightly to show her seriousness and respect. Zhang Yongho took a deep breath, squeezed out a smile that was uglier than crying, and said, Ah, brother, I believe that you are a very good partner, absolutely. The world of cultivation. After the annual examinations, the situation became more and more tense. 100 Flowers Hall. A long flame flew in and quietly floated in front of the 100 Flowers Fairy. 100 Flowers Fairy took the fire talisman and scanned it with her spiritual sense. A very strange piece of information, she said. What is it? Xiao Xiao asked curiously. The powerful demons that used to live on Demon Cloud's river have all disappeared without a trace. Could they have entered human territory? Gu Qingshan asked. No, we've been keeping a close eye on them. As soon as they appear, we'll immediately notice, the 100 Flowers Fairy replied. After confirming it again and again, they seem to have left our world, she added. That's a good thing, Qin Shaolu smiled. They're all gone, we don't need to fight anymore, we'll be able to grasp victory in our hands, but all the beast saints of this world are still here, none of them left, the 100 Flowers Fairy said. She went silent for a bit, then said, although we don't know what happened, this is the best chance for humanity. We originally planned to launch an attack after the semester examination, but now it seems we can turn this attack into a decisive battle. As Gu Qingshan listened, her heart sank. The otherworld demons are all gone. Where did they go? According to the corpse on the bronze pillar, they must have gone to pick up a pushover. Which is reality. At this point, the demons still can't enter reality themselves, but they've already created sea monsters and man-killer fiends. What will they do next? Reality is already in a terrible state, it won't be able to withstand the third great calamity. Damn it, I should be in reality right now, taking a good look at what's going on. Gu Qingshan was a bit annoyed, but there was nothing she could do. In this life, the situation of both worlds changed too quickly, so much so that she couldn't keep up with it. Let's not talk about reality, just the cultivation world. In the past life, players could at least start by hunting small demon beasts, slowly increase their strength and level, slowly getting used to the cultivation world. But now that humanity has seen through the demon's scheme and discovered Shen Wu world, they've gained the upper hand in terms of strategy. So there's no need for small skirmishes anymore, they're definitely going to start a large-scale war. This time, I'm about to enter the decisive battle between humanity and the demons. This isn't a simple game, it's a real battle where people will die. In the face of such a huge war, an individual's fate is like duckweed in the water, they can fall at any moment. What should I do? Gu Qingshan quickly glanced at the hourglass. The hourglass is still moving very slowly. Ever since he went to that strange space, his time flow has been chaotic. Now that he's in the cultivation world, he still doesn't know when he'll be able to return. He sighed to himself. Right now, he doesn't have the energy to care about reality, he needs to focus on this war. Hopefully, while he's in the cultivation world, nothing major will happen in reality. Gu Qingshan temporarily suppressed his thoughts and focused on the people of Baihua Palace. 100 Flowers Fairy waved her hand, putting 2 items on the table. 2 badges, one in front of Gu Qingshan, the other in front of Qin Shaolu. Gu Qingshan's badge is still bronze, but compared to when he first came here, this badge isn't as crude as it used to be. In the middle of the badge, a dark red engraving outlines 2 sharp characters. Shao Qi. Gu Qingshan looked at the Shao Qi chaplain badge in front of him and couldn't believe it. I'm now a Shao Qi chaplain? Shao Qi chaplain is ranked 3rd among the 6 schools, which is quite a good position. The military system of the Human Allied Army uses the 6 colonels, 4 generals, commander and deputy commander system. As for the 10 generals, 100 men, 1,000 riders, they're just small leaders among the soldiers, not really officers. The ranks of chaplain, from lowest to highest, are Pei Rong, Ren Yong, Yu Wu, Shao Qi, Zhen Wei, Zhao Wu. This hierarchy went through many intense debates and discussions before it was finally decided and recognized by all the sects in the cultivation world. For the cultivators of the cultivation world, every increase in rank required a certain amount of military merit. Players, on the other hand, have to kill demons and beasts. In the past life, a player had to kill 800 demons to be promoted to Pei Rong Chaplain. And from Pei Rong Chaplain to Ren Yong Chaplain, they had to kill 2,000 demons. With each promotion, the number of demons killed will increase. To become a Shao Qi Chaplain from Soldier, a player has to kill 30,800 demons. This is a terrifying number that very few people can achieve, but that's the system's rules. Not to mention players, according to this world's cultivator's calculations, Gu Qingshan was originally a soldier of the vanguard, so to become a chaplain, he has to earn at least 10 small merits, or 1 large merit, to be promoted to Pei Rong Chaplain. Pei Rong is the lowest rank among military officers, while Gu Qingshan's badge is Shao Qi. He jumped 3 ranks in a row. This is what you deserve. No need to be surprised, White Goose said. 100 Flowers Fairy smiled, then also said, "You saved 2 generals, asked this saint to help, helped expose the traitor of humanity, and even discovered Shen Wu world. Isn't that enough for a Shao Qi?" White Goose also said, "If it weren't for the fact that I'm worried that you'll be promoted too quickly, Shifu would even want to go to the Alliance and ask for a general for you. Shifu can directly ask for it." Gu Qingshan couldn't believe it. In the Human Cultivation Alliance, military merit is the most important thing, so every promotion of military rank is a very serious and fair matter. No favoritism or cheating is allowed. Even if I've earned a great merit, it still doesn't make sense for me to go from a soldier to a general. White Goose said, "The Human Alliance doesn't have a commander-in-chief anymore. If there's no commander-in-chief, then who's in charge of the battle?" Xiao cut in. Blade Emperor's betrayal is still a bit scary. White Goose squinted his eyes. The Human Alliance has a total of 3 highest commanders, the 3 saints themselves. The 3 saints definitely won't betray us, so this is the safest measure. What do you think? White Goose proudly said, "Third brother, Shifu is the highest commander. Does he have the right to directly promote you as a general?" "He does." Gu Qingshan was a bit speechless. 100 Flowers Fairy lightly coughed, then very seriously said, "Qingshan, Shifu sees that you're still too young. It's best for you to train yourself a bit more. As for the general position, it won't be too late to promote you after you've earned some merit." "Yes," Gu Qingshan answered. "Be a chaplain for now, see more of the military. We'll talk about it after you've learned how to command." "Yes, then again, with your talent, wouldn't it be easy for you to earn merit and get promoted?" 100 Flowers Fairy casually said, very naturally lifting her chin up. Gu Qingshan didn't answer. "That's not it at all. Earning merit needs to be accumulated. It's not easy." Gu Qingshan silently thought to himself. He even felt that he knows more about humanity's military merit accumulation and promotion system than 100 Flowers Fairy. Because in the past life, these are all things that players have studied so much that they're all familiar with them. As for a saint like 100 Flowers Fairy, she's at the top of humanity's cultivation, so she only cares about humanity's important matters, so she doesn't need to personally study the complicated military merit accumulation and promotion system. "Third brother isn't bad, you're only 1 rank lower than me." Qin Shaolu proudly showed his badge. On his badge the words Zhenwei are engraved. Shao Qi, Zhenwei, Zhao Wu, these are the 3 highest ranks of a chaplain. Gu Qingshan smiled, then said, "Seems like us brothers can go to the front lines together this time." Hearing that, Qin Shaolu put his badge away and awkwardly said, "About that, what? I'm at the back." White Goose scoffed, then said, "What does he know about fighting and killing? He only uses the 6 arts to stay at the back of the army." Gu Qingshan was surprised. Divination, formations, smithing, pills, talismans and food, all cultivators can't do without these, and Qin Shaolu is the best at these 6 arts. That's why he doesn't need to go to the front lines at all. He only needs to stay at the back and use his 6 arts to increase the strength of humanity's allied army. Gu Qingshan very seriously said, "It's not easy. Demons are fierce and unafraid of death. Without the 6 arts, humanity would have been wiped out already. The 6 arts are the crystallization of this cultivation world civilization. The reason why humanity can fight against the demons is mostly because of these things. That's true, you're right, very rarely. White Goose didn't continue to belittle Qin Shaolu and agreed. 100 Flowers Fairy then said, Bai Ying Tian is a demon. His identity is quite awkward. Xiao Xiao is still young, so she can't go. You 2 brothers represent Bai Hua sect. After you go to the front lines, do your best, don't let our sect down. Yes, the 2 of them answered at the same time. Very well, 100 Flowers Fairy smiled. Qing Shan is a Shao Qi chaplain, but he doesn't even have a spirit beast mount. Xiao Lu, bring him to choose a spirit beast mount later. Leave it to me. Qin Shaolu was grateful that Gu Qing Shan spoke up for him just now, so he patted his chest and agreed. Chapter 170. After 100 Flowers Fairy left, White Goose also brought Xiao Xiao away to cultivate, leaving only Gu Qing Shan and Qin Shaolu in the hall. Let's go, junior brother. He stood up and called Gu Qing Shan. Yes, Gu Qing Shan smiled, reached for his badge and was about to go with him. Unexpectedly, when his hand touched the token, his expression abruptly changed. A streak of light flashed across the war god UI, turning into lines of blood-red text in the middle. Detected that the user has triggered a unique storyline. Current conditions met the activation criteria. Activating Destiny Quest. A Destiny Quest. Another Destiny Quest. Last time, it was when he, Gongsun Ji and Ning Yuechan were surrounded by demons that a Destiny Quest appeared. That time, they went through a lot of hardships and almost lost their lives. Only then did they manage to complete the quest and activate the War God Thaumaturgy button. What about this time? Gu Qing Shan quickly looked down. Destiny Quest. Decisive Battle 1. Break the chains of fate, change the direction of the world. User Gu Qing Shan has entered the Destiny Quest. Quest description. The cultivation world has prepared for the decisive battle against the demons. Success or failure will be decided here. If it succeeds, the cultivation world will have a chance to advance to Shen Wu world. If it fails, the demons will once again swarm towards this world. This world's humanity will continue to head towards extinction. Quest objective. Only by standing high enough will you have enough influence to influence this decisive battle. You must raise your military rank to Zhao Wu chaplain in the first half of the battle. This will be an extremely dangerous and difficult battle. To ensure that the user doesn't die prematurely, the quest reward has been given ahead of time. If the quest fails, the quest reward will be revoked. The user will not be able to increase her cultivation for the next 3 years. Gu Qing Shan read it all in one go, feeling both surprised and heavy at the same time. The quest name reads, Decisive Battle 1. This is actually half a quest. In other words, only by completing this part of the quest will she be qualified to enter the second half of the quest. And this time, the final quest reward has been given ahead of time. Gu Qing Shan did not feel surprised. Instead, there was a heavy feeling in her heart. Previously, when he saved Gongsun Ji and Ning Yuechan, he didn't even give them a reward in advance. But this time, the system directly said that it would be a very dangerous and difficult battle, and the reward was given in advance. This has never happened before. In the history of the game, there had never been a quest that gave out rewards in advance. It could be seen that the system had also predicted that players might die in this battle. Not to mention, if he failed the mission, he wouldn't be able to raise his cultivation for 3 years. In that case, he could only wait for death to come. Perhaps it was better to die. At least he wouldn't have to watch helplessly as many things happened. After reading the mission description, Gu Qing Shan sighed silently. He felt like he was standing on a cliff that was tens of thousands of feet high. One wrong step and he would be consigned to eternal damnation. He followed the interface and clicked on the reward icon on the operation interface. Ding! The reward for the Battle of Destiny has been unlocked. On the War God UI, a new golden icon appeared, next to War God Skills and War God Thaumaturgy. Gu Qingshan's heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, the Destiny Quest is the key to unlocking the icon on the War God UI. He quickly looked at the icon. A small line of text appeared on the icon. War God title. The name of War God resounds through heaven and earth, spreading to every corner of the world. Your title is the manifestation of your will. User Gu Qingshan. Current number of titles. 2. Attention, you can only equip one title at a time. I already have a title? Gu Qingshan looked down in surprise. Title 1. 15th Sword, Personal Title. Description: on the day of the semester examination, a single strike sent the top 15 cultivators of the semester examination flying. Because of that, the name Sword 15 has spread among the newcomers of various sects. Equipping this title grants you the personal skill. Sound Shock, Primary. Sound Shock, Primary. During the attack, it will cause minor damage to the enemy's soul vessel. A Title 2. Shao Qi Chaplain. Description: within humanity's allied army, this is the 3rd rank chaplain military rank. Equipping this title grants you the personal skill. Quick Attack, Primary. A Quick Attack, Primary. The user's attack speed is increased by 10%. Gu Qingshan sighed. Sure enough, the War God UI is worthy of its War God title. Every single War God icon is incredibly powerful. The 2 titles that he had obtained so far were only very basic titles. Because of that, the corresponding skills won't be too powerful. But looking at the primary label on the back of the skill, it's obvious that it's the same rank as a growth skill. Growth skills are extremely powerful. Shifting Flurry is a good example. Gu Qingshan can already foresee, as the titles change, the effects of title skills will be unimaginable. If one day I can reach the level of the 3 saints, just how powerful will the personal skill of title skills be? No wonder the system gave me this reward early. It's quite a bit of motivation for me. Reading through the quest reward, Gu Qingshan's mood calmed down a bit. There's no helping it, I can't hide from what I have to face, so I might as well try my best. Qin Shaolu came up and pulled him towards a palace behind Baihua Palace. He excitedly said, "Junior brother, you'll have to pick a good mount." Qin Shaolu was acting like he didn't care about anything, so he didn't notice that Gu Qingshan's expression was a bit off. He was a bit annoyed. Shifu has a good relationship with a lot of spirit beasts, but she's usually very strict with me, not letting me come here to play. Gu Qingshan forced a smile and asked, "Senior brother, what's your mount?" "Me?" Qin Shaolu laughed and took out a spirit beast bag. "Junior brother, please take a look." He patted his spirit beast pouch, and a huge black shadow descended from the sky, blocking their line of sight. Dong! A giant tortoise as tall as a 2-story building landed, causing the ground to tremble. This was a frost mystic tortoise, a water elemental, 2nd stage water elemental, quite strong. "It doesn't matter if it's a battle." Qin Shaolu spoke like he was showing off a treasure. "The thing is, its shell has a frost effect, normal attacks will easily miss. Look at the thickness of its shell, its defense is truly amazing." Gu Qingshan was confused. "But what does its high defense have to do with you?" "You don't know about this," Qin Shaolu said proudly. "I spent a lot of effort to place 3 space formations inside the shell. This way, if a demon attacks, I can hide inside the shell." Gu Qingshan stared at him seriously until she was sure he wasn't joking. Qin Shaolu has this kind of charm. He can make you unconsciously divert your attention or even forget your own worries. Chapter 172. That's true, I didn't pay attention when I released it just now, Qin Shaolu said in realization. He then put away the frost mystic tortoise. The 2 of them stood up and patted the dust off their bodies. After walking for a while, Qin Shaolu pointed at a hall and said, "We're here." Gu Qingshan looked up and saw 3 large words written on the hall, Spirit Beast Hall. The two of them walked in and saw spirit beast tags hanging from red ropes hanging from the ceiling of the hall. Gu Qing-shan released her divine sense and saw the names of the spirit beasts written on each tag in small, graceful characters. The entire hall was filled with such spirit beast tags. A rough count put the number of spirit beasts in the thousands. It was a spectacular sight. Those who do good are spirit beasts, those who do evil are demons, Qin Xiaolu said emotionally. In fact, demon beasts are spirit beasts, and spirit beasts are demon beasts. Good and evil can be determined with a single thought, no different from humans. Master raised so many spirit beasts? Gu Qing-shan was surprised. Some of them weren't raised, they hung them here to thank Master for his help, Qin Xiaolu said. What did Master do? Gu Qing-shan asked. Nothing much, I helped whoever was in trouble. Trouble? What kind of trouble did spirit beasts have? Not enough food, being hunted, cultivation deviation, thousands of years of spirit herbs being stolen, and so on. These are spirit beasts that made a promise in front of Master, saying that if you need anything, they will come to repay you, Qin Xiaolu said. Master really helped a lot of spirit beasts. Gu Qing-shan looked at the tags in the hall and said emotionally. Oh right, what kind of mount do you want, junior brother? Fast speed. Gu Qing-shan thought for a moment and said. In terms of fighting, he could do it himself. But in terms of strategic movement, he had to move from one position to another. Sometimes a minute's difference could change the situation. Only speed. Qin Xiaolu said. Yes, Gu Qing-shan replied. Qin Xiaolu made an I understand you expression. We really are fellow apprentices, he whispered. I know how to hide and you know how to run. It seems that Master doesn't need to worry about our safety in this battle. Gu Qing-shan didn't know whether to laugh or cry, so she didn't say anything. Qin Xiaolu sighed, saying, This time, it's going to be extremely dangerous. Shifu didn't restrict what kind of mounts we can use, so I'll just give you the best spirit beast. He pondered and said, Fast speed. Then it's the single-horned dark demon horse, the glazed light emerald leopard, and the fire cloud chasing sky crane. After that, Qin Xiaolu waved his hand, and the 3 spirit beast tokens slowly floated in front of him. Pay attention to what you say later. Spirit beasts have their own temper. Moreover, these 3 are spirit beasts in the elixir realm, Qin Xiaolu whispered. Yes, Gu Qing-shan said. Qin Xiaolu then released his spiritual energy, and touched the 3 spirit beast tokens one by one. Clap, clap, clap. 3 figures appeared in front of the 2 of them. An unusually handsome single-horned horse, a leopard with a faintly glowing body, and a crane with a snow-white body and a crimson feather around its neck. The 3 spirit beasts stood separately, looked at each other, then looked at the 2 of them. What's the matter? The single-horned horse asked. Its voice was urgent and intense, and sounded like a question. Seniors, we're going to the front line. My junior brother needs a mount. Who do you think can help him? Qin Xiaolu was extremely polite at this moment. War, the single-horned dark demon horse snorted irritably. There are dead bodies everywhere. Don't you humans find it annoying? Ahahaha. Seniors, don't misunderstand. When the demons attack, we're also trying to survive, Qin Xiaolu hurriedly comforted him. The glowing leopard spoke. There's nothing we can do about war, but in a place like that, we can't even take care of ourselves. Do you really think we'll have to take care of a Foundation establishment realm brat? Qin Xiaolu smiled. Foundation establishment is only temporary, humans advance very quickly, perhaps when my junior brother breaks through, he'll be like a hot knife through butter. Come, junior brother, let's get to know the seniors. He pulled Gu Qing-shan forward. Greetings, everyone, Gu Qing-shan greeted. The 3 spirit beasts looked at him carefully. How old are you? The flame cloud chasing sky crane asked. Its voice was very gentle. This humble one is 18, soon to be 19, Gu Qing-shan answered. Going to the front line, will you be with Qin Xiaolu? The flame cloud chasing sky crane asked again. No, I'll be at the front line, fighting the enemies, Hearing that, the dark unicorn horse and the lazurite blue moon leopard exchanged glances. Very brave, very good, what do you think? The flame cloud chasing sky crane asked the two spirit beasts. I'm willing to be the fairy's mount, that's why I'm here. The dark unicorn horse turned its head away. He's too young, going to the front line like this. He doesn't know how cruel war is, the lazurite blue moon leopard commented. That's right, a brat like this still wants to go to the front line. Do you want me to be his babysitter? The dark unicorn horse was annoyed. The lazurite blue moon leopard shook its head. Troublesome, troublesome. Ahaha, seniors. Qin Shalu smiled, wanting to say something else. Gu Qingshan suddenly patted his shoulder, signaling him to stop talking. Gu Qingshan looked at the two spirit beasts and said, Perhaps you're mistaken about something. The two spirit beasts looked at him. Firstly, war is a struggle for the survival of this world, a struggle for survival without any regard for their lives. It's not something you'll find annoying, Gu Qingshan continued. If this world is destroyed, you'll also be done for, brat. The lazurite blue moon leopard stared at him, muttering in a low voice. Qin Shaolu desperately tried to signal Gu Qingshan with his eyes, but Gu Qingshan ignored him and continued. Secondly, I'm not begging you to be my spirit beast mount, I'm only choosing because I have your tags here. If you're not willing, you can leave, and don't ever hang your tags in Bai Hua sect again, because you can't keep your promises, you brat. How dare you? The dark unicorn horse jumped up. This is Bai Hua sect. You dare to say I'm being bold here? Gu Qingshan squinted his eyes. Killing intent exuded from his body. The void of space flickered as the earth sword appeared in his hand. The earth sword vibrated, exuding intense fighting spirit. Ping! A pale blue sword phantom enveloped the sword. Can you say that again, senior? Senior. Gu Qingshan looked at the single-horned dark horse and softly asked. The three spirit beasts took a step back. All of their hair stood on end. Having been through countless years of brutal fighting, they're very sensitive to changes in the situation. Sword cultivator. Sword cultivators are all lunatic. From the look on this brat's face, he's definitely serious. He's definitely going to attack. Even if he can't win, he's still going to attack. The same thought appeared in the minds of all the spirit beasts. The dark unicorn horse stared at him without moving. Brat, the lazurite blue moon leopard muttered, but couldn't say anything else. All right, I'll be your mount, flame cloud chasing sky crane said. Gu Qingshan was a bit surprised. Why? He asked. I've always felt that you're very brave, and to be accepted as a disciple by a saint at such a young age, your talents must be quite good as well, flame cloud chasing sky crane said. I've been stuck at Golden Core Realm for over 100 years now. If I become your mount and one day you become a great cultivator, you might be able to help me break through sooner. This is a chance, and also a good thing, Flame Cloud Chasing Sky Crane said. You're not afraid of dying on the front lines with me? Gu Qingshan asked. Even a Foundation Establishment Realm brat isn't afraid of death. I'm a Golden Core Realm beast. What's there to be afraid of? Flame Cloud Chasing Sky Crane said. Very well, a female voice came. Chapter 173. Shifu, when did you get here? Qin Shaolu asked. A while ago, 100 Flowers Fairy answered. We greet the saint, the three spirit beasts hurriedly bowed. Bai Hua Fairy pointed her finger at the air. Out of the 3 spirit beast tags, 2 of them broke. Single-horned dark horse, light blue moon leopard, from now on, you are not allowed to come within 1,000 miles of Bai Hua Immortal Country, nor are you allowed to use my name to do anything. If you do, this saint will punish you severely. From now on, Flame Cloud Chasing Sky Crane will be Gu Qingshan's mount. From now on, all cultivation scriptures, pills and spirit food will be provided by our Bai Hua sect. Yes, the 3 spirit beasts lowered their heads, each having their own thoughts. Night. Orchid Hall. White Goose threw a jade tag to Gu Qingshan and said, Practice it well. Gu Qingshan took the jade tag and scanned it with his inner sight, then felt a surge of emotions. This was a scripture jade tag. 100 Saints Core Formation Scripture. This was by Hua Saint's own scripture. In the past life, this scripture was very famous. The description said that this was the strongest scripture for Foundation Establishment Realm. Cultivating this scripture will increase spirit energy by 20% compared to other scriptures, and it's also much easier to break through to the next realm. Every player knows about this scripture, but because no one has become 100 Flowers Fairy's disciple, no one has ever been taught it. White Goose said, "Since you're going to the front lines, it's very likely that you won't be able to return to the sect for a while." Shifu went through several hundred scriptures for Foundation Establishment Realm. In the end, she still had to take out the one she practiced before. Gu Qing Shan answered, "I understand, I'll study it well. How unfortunate, I don't have soul points right now," he silently thought. "This problem is easy to solve. I just need to go to the front lines and kill demons." Gu Qing Shan can also start studying the scripture right now, but he has too many things to do, so directly using soul points to study would be more convenient. Xiao had been waiting at the side for a long time. At this time, she held a storage bag with both hands and raised it in front of Gu Qing Shan. "Senior brother, there are a lot of snacks inside. I took a long time to pick them out. You can have some if you're hungry," Xiao said. "Ah, our Xiao is the best. When senior brother comes back, I'll take you out to play." Gu Qing Shan put away the storage bag and patted her head. "Junior brother!" A shout came from outside Orchid Hall. Gu Qing Shan quickly got up and went out to greet them. After a while, Qin Xiaolu followed him into the Orchid Hall. "How's the preparation going?" Qin Xiaolu asked. "Everything is ready, we're just waiting to depart tomorrow," Gu Qing Shan said. He Qin Xiaolu patted Gu Qing Shan's shoulder. "About the spirit beasts today, I've been thinking about it. It was my fault, I made you feel wronged. We're brothers, there's no need to say such things." Very well, as compensation, I have a good scripture for you here," Qin Xiaolu spoke mysteriously. "What good scripture?" "This scripture is something I've improved. It'll allow you to enjoy the ups and downs of life." Saying so, he tapped his inventory bag and took out a jade tag. As Gu Qing Shan looked at the jade tag and heard what he said, she felt a headache coming on. The last time Qin Xiaolu also took out a jade tag to give to Gu Qing Shan, but the white goose took it away right away. That time, it was spirit energy nurturing, a scripture that Qin Xiaolu specifically uses to pick up girls. Only after Xiao explained the scripture's origin did Gu Qing Shan understand, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. This time, she really doesn't know what he's giving her. Qin Xiaolu triumphantly gave her the jade tag. Gu Qing Shan couldn't help but accept it. As soon as the jade tag was in hand, a line of glowing text appeared on the War God UI. "Discovered improved Super Presence Concealment Script. Would you like to spend 10 soul points to learn it?" Gu Qing Shan was a bit surprised. Presence Concealment is only a regular scripture, it's only used in combat missions where you need to hide your identity. This improved Super Presence Concealment script actually costs more soul points than most powerful skills. It seems to be the best of the best. "But what's the point of this?" Gu Qing Shan asked. "Isn't this a presence concealment script? How can I enjoy the ups and downs of the human world?" "You don't understand," Qin Xiaolu kept her in suspense. I don't understand," Gu Qing Shan cooperated. Qin Xiaolu laughed, then his expression suddenly became serious. "The true meaning of this scripture is divided into 4 words. I've never told anyone else about these 4 words, so junior brother, you have to listen carefully." Seeing how serious he was, Gu Qing Shan couldn't help but become serious. "Yes, senior brother, go ahead." Qin Xiaolu's expression also became serious, pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Gu Qing Shan was stunned. Qin Xiaolu continued. "Go to the market square where Qi Training Realm cultivators come and go. If anyone dares to provoke you, remove the presence concealment script and show them your true strength. They'll be begging for mercy in no time. Using this in front of a female cultivator will make your body and mind feel better, but Gu Qing Shan asked, what if the other party has a senior brother or master to help them? Qin Shaolu clasped his fist. This humble one is Bai Hua sect's direct disciple, Qin Shaolu. May I ask which sect you're from? You're using Shifu's name like that. Don't tell anyone. Qin Shaolu hurriedly waved his hand. This method is for you to relieve your boredom at the front line. This is my ultimate method of relieving boredom. I'll teach it to you now. How about it? Senior brother is a good friend, right? Yes, senior brother, are you a good friend? Yes. Qin Shaolu then looked at White Goose and Xiao Xiao, saying, all right, senior brother, junior sister, please don't tell Shifu either. We're all doing this for Qingshan's own good, Xiao Xiao helplessly said. Seeing as you're doing this for third brother, I won't tell anyone. First brother, haha, even if I beg you, please don't tell anyone. Qin Shaolu smiled cheekily and bowed. White Goose squinted his eyes, coldly saying, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Qin Shaolu then calmed down. Thinking about it, he felt that as a senior brother, he's being too considerate of his junior brother. After everyone left, only Gu Qing Shan was left in Orchid Hall. Gu Qing Shan looked at the jade tag in her hand, sighed, then put it back into her inventory bag. Fine, no matter how unreasonable Qin Shaolu is, he's still a good person. Suddenly, a flame came. Gu Qing Shan received it and was a bit surprised. This flame talisman was from Gong Sun Ji. He released his inner sight to check the communication talisman. A message came. Do you want to earn military merit right now? Of course I do. This is a matter of life and death. Only with military merit can I be promoted. If I can't become a Zhao Wu chaplain, I won't be able to increase my cultivation for 3 years. Gu Qing Shan quickly replied. Yes, please teach me, General Sun Ji. He activated the communication talisman, which turned into a flame and flew away. A few moments later, the talisman returned. Gong Sun Ji replied again. During the last campaign, you were the only survivor of the Vanguard Battalion. Compile all the information you have on the monsters into a book, including their characteristics, attack patterns, and weaknesses. That'll be a great contribution. Gu Qing Shan was surprised. That's right, the first campaign was a probing battle between the demons and humanity. At the time, the demons had only just arrived in this world. If it weren't for Gong Sun Ji and Ning Yuechan discovering the secret of Shen Wu world, the demons wouldn't have gone to war like that. They still don't know much about this world's strength. The same goes for humanity. That's why even now, humanity still doesn't know much about the demons. At this time, compiling all the information on the demons and handing it over would be a great contribution. But I can't hand it all over because at this point in time, some of the demons still haven't appeared. That's something I need to consider. As soon as he thought of it, he took out a jade tag and compiled the information on the demons that appeared at the front line. Chapter 175. An uneventful night. The next day, dawn. A red-necked white crane flew up from Baihua Palace, heading towards the horizon. The white crane was extremely fast. Every time it flapped its wings, there would be a faintly discernible cloud of fire surrounding its body. Any cultivator who knows how to fly would know that this was the fastest flying mount, the flame cloud-chasing sky crane. This type of crane doesn't have much fighting power or defense. The only advantage it has is speed. Cultivators can fly by themselves, but if they're going to fight for a long period of time, they'll need a mount. Airships cost spirit stones, but spirit beasts don't even need spirit stones. At most a few low-level fasting pills are enough. If a cultivator flies by themselves, they'll need to use spirit energy. And in a cruel war, every bit of spirit energy can mean the difference between life and death. So the best thing to use is a spirit beast mount. A cultivator doesn't need to use their spirit energy or stamina, they can even meditate and enter a state of cultivation. Gu Qing Shan sat on the back of the crane, looking up. After leaving Baihua Immortal Country, they passed by Yushan Spirit Sect, Flowing Cloud sect, West Mountain Sword sect, the road became more and more desolate. There were cities, farms, and villages along the way, but as the crane flew, all of them disappeared. What replaced them were large, desolate fields. Even if there were some scattered villages, there was no one living there. Everyone, whether they're normal people or cultivators, were being advised to move inland. This place was already close to the front lines. Cultivators in 2s and 3s were scattered around, setting up various array formations. This place is the buffer zone for the front lines, so if there's a loss, the formations here will be responsible for defending and counterattacking. After flying for about an hour, Gu Qingshan saw the army camp. Although it's called a military camp, it's actually as big as a medium-sized city. There's a 10-meter tall defensive formation around the camp. Occasionally patrolling cultivators riding spirit beasts would fly past. This is basically a war fortress. Let's go down, he said. Got it, Flame Cloud Chasing Sky Crane replied. The cloud of fire descended, stopping at the empty field in front of the camp. Gu Qingshan took out a pill and fed it to the crane, saying, "You've worked hard, rest up first." Flame Cloud Chasing Sky Crane ate the pill and went back into the spirit beast bag. Gu Qingshan strode to the entrance of the barrack. Who goes there? The two cultivators at the entrance shouted. Shao Qi Chaplain Gu Qingshan, reporting for duty. Gu Qingshan said as she threw her badge over. One of the cultivators took the token and infused it with his spirit energy. The token immediately lit up. A streak of light soared into the sky, revealing the words, Shao Qi Chaplain Gu Qingshan. The cultivator sensed the token and found that it was connected to the young man in front of him, so he nodded. He tossed the waist tag back to Gu Qingshan. Go in. Gu Qingshan said, Thank you very much. The military camp was bustling with activity. Who's going to prepare the pills for the A sub-battalion? Where's the formation plate? Have the Vanguard camp's array masters fixed the array discs? We're going to charge the formation tomorrow. Why haven't you sent it to him yet? Who's going to record it down for me? The two western camps have fallen. I'm going to save them myself. A few great cultivators were shouting and shouting. All the supporting cultivators around them were so busy that they didn't even have time to rest. Gu Qingshan queued up, walked in front of a table, and put her badge on it. The cultivator took the badge, imprinted a spirit rune on it and said, Next, Gu Qingshan quickly took the badge and was led to another room. He looked at the sign on the door only to see the words, Armaments Division. As soon as he went in, a cultivator took the badge. The cultivator released his inner sight and scanned the badge. A Shao Qi chaplain. He came just in time. Saying so, he went to the storage room to take out a set of armor. Check it, if there's no problem, put your fingerprint on it. Ah yes, thank you. Gu Qingshan took the set of armor to the table on the side and spread it out. This was a black armor with red patterns on it. The red patterns on it are very small, engraved in inconspicuous places. They're the armor's spirit rune formation. Breastplate, shoulder pads, helmet, arm guards, gauntlets, belt, knee pads, boots, all of them are brand new and of excellent quality. Every piece of this set of armor was a spiritual-grade equipment. Equipment forging, from lowest to highest, is divided into sharpness, treasure, spirit, law and Tao. A spirit-grade equipment being in the middle is already quite good, not to mention it's a full set of armor. With this armor, you can fight without worry on the battlefield, without having to worry about sneak attacks from special demons like the heart-stealing imp. The golden armor that Ning Yuechan wore before was a general-grade advanced armor. Wearing that armor, even if she just stood there and let normal demons attack her, they wouldn't be able to break through. That armor can be considered a high-grade magic tool. The amount of resources and time it takes to make it is unimaginable, so it's extremely precious. After carefully inspecting it, Gu Qingshan pressed his fingerprint on it. Seeing that he didn't waste any time, quickly inspecting it and even pressed his fingerprint on it, the cultivator was very happy. The cultivator said, Very good, now I'll pick a weapon for you. He flipped through the catalog and spoke. Let me see, Shao Qi Chaplain's grade, 2 weapons to choose from. What weapon do you want? Gu Qingshan thought for a bit, then said, I'll use my own weapon, but can I exchange for a few more demon-slaying arrows? You don't want 2 weapons, only demon-slaying arrows? Yes, the cultivator looked at him seriously and said, According to the Shao Qi Chaplain's grade, you can get 1 demon-slaying arrow, but if you don't want a weapon, I can make the decision and give you 5. Very well, Gu Qingshan happily said. The cultivator went deeper into the storage room. After a while, he struggled to carry the 5 arrows back. Dong! The arrows landed on the table with a dull thud. The cultivator breathed a sigh of relief and said, These things are really heavy, all right, you can inspect them now. Gu Qingshan took one of them and carefully inspected it under the light. This devil-slaying arrow glowed with a dark light. From the tip of the arrow to the feathers, there were small and complicated runes engraved on it. The entire arrow was covered in runes, and there wasn't even a single empty space. Demon-slaying arrows were made from meteorites. They're very powerful, but there aren't many of them, so they're usually only used in crucial battles, very rarely given to soldiers. This is a life-saving equipment, so there can't be any problems with it. So Gu Qingshan carefully inspected it. After inspecting all 5 arrows, he clasped his fist to the other party. There are no problems, thank you, come, put your fingerprint on the weapon receipt record. Got it. After Gu Qingshan received his items, when he came out again, he was brought to a room by the guard cultivator. There were a few dozen cultivators sitting cross-legged in this room, waiting for the military order. The guard cultivator brought Gu Qingshan in front of 3 other cultivators and told them, You're all here, you can start preparing. When you're called, you'll all set off together. Saying so, the guard cultivator was about to leave. The other 3 cultivators quickly checked their personal belongings to see if there's anything missing. Gu Qingshan pulled the guard cultivator to ask for the location, then went to the military merit department. A few moments later, he came back with a smile. The great cultivators in charge of the military merit department had already been notified by Ding Yuan General Gongsun Ji that he was coming, so they've been waiting for him this morning. After Gu Qingshan handed over the demon encyclopedia, the great cultivators all looked at it and praised it. This is definitely a good thing, as it'll greatly affect the front lines. Gu Qingshan received 100 military merit right away. From Shaoqi to Zhenwei, requires 180 military merit, so she's already halfway there. Just like that, the pressure from the Destiny quest was relieved a bit. Chapter 177. Among these people, one of them was wearing the same standard armor as Gu Qingshan, while the other 2 were wearing grayish-white armor with green stripes. That was the battle armor of the Imperial Guard Commandant. Although the Imperial Guard Commandant was 1 rank lower than the Shaoqi Commandant, it was still a pretty good military rank. While there was still time, the 4 of them cupped their fists and greeted each other. Li Chuchen, Spirit Beast Sect. Zhang Fang, West Mountain Sword Sect. Bai Haidong, Yao Guang Sect. Gu Qingshan, Bai Hua Sect. After the 4 of them finished their introductions, Bai Haidong first looked at Gu Qingshan and said with a smile, Senior brother Ling often tells me about you. You're Ling Tianxing's junior brother? We can take care of each other. Gu Qingshan also smiled. The 3 of them were very young, probably in their early 20s. Zhang Fang and Li Chuchen were at the peak of Foundation Establishment Realm, while Bai Haidong was at the late stage of Foundation Establishment Realm. Gu Qingshan's realm was the lowest, but she was also the youngest. But no one looked down on him. The 3 of them had all become Foundation Establishment cultivators at a young age, and had even accumulated military merits to enter the ranks of military officers. Any one of them would be a proud son of heaven. Gu Qingshan was able to become a Shaoqi chaplain. She must have real martial arts, real ability, only then could she reach this step. Military merits would not lie. Not to mention, this is Bai Hua Saint's disciple. The minds of the three youths spun, and they understood everything clearly. Li Chuchen looked at Gu Qingshan and clasped his fist. So it's sword 15, everyone chuckled. It was obvious that the incident at this year's semester examination had spread far and wide. Bai Hua sect, a disciple of a saint, a young sword cultivator, quite famous recently. Zhang Fang asked, "Fellow Taoist Gu, I saw that you went to the military merit office. Did you gain something?" Gu Qingshan looked at him. He was the same as Gu Qingshan, a Shaoqi chaplain, one rank higher than Bai Haidong and Zhang Fang. "Yeah, I've compiled some monster records when I was in the vanguard and handed them in," Gu Qingshan said frankly. The expressions of the other three changed. This sword 15 turned out to be from the vanguard battalion. That was the place where the battle was the most intense. It would be great if they could return unscathed. There were countless different kinds of demons, and there were too many to count. The characteristics and attack abilities of the demons were also very different. When fighting against them, there would often be unexpected situations, causing the cultivators to suffer greatly. The monster records compiled by Gu Qingshan can be used to obtain military merits, so they must be genuine, otherwise, they wouldn't be able to escape the eyes of the great cultivators in the military merit department. Zhang Fang said, "Since you know the monster's weakness, you'll have to worry about it along the way." His words were clever. He was obviously letting Gu Qingshan take command, but he made it sound like he was the one who was troubled. Among the four of them, only he and Gu Qingshan were Shaoqi chaplains. Since Zhang Fang had the intention to give way, then the person in command must be Gu Qingshan. You can't let two Yuan chaplains command the Shaoqi chaplains. Lung Tianxing's junior brother Bai Haidong was the first to agree. Li Chuchen also nodded in agreement. Thus, such a temporary small group was born. A guard cultivator came in and gave the four of them their monthly salary. Shaoqi chaplains get about 300 low-grade spirit stones, Yuan chaplains get 200 low-grade spirit stones. Zhang Fang put the spirit stones into his bag and said, "I don't know when I'll lose my life, so if I have money, I'll have to spend it. When we get to the camp, I'll treat everyone to a drink." Gu Qingshan finished putting on her armor, smiled and said, "You're done treating, it's my turn." Everyone laughed and laughed. The atmosphere was very harmonious. At this time, a guard cultivator came in and called, "Gu Qingshan, Zhang Fang, Li Chuchen, Bai Haidong, get ready to go." "Yes." The four of them became serious. Their relaxed expressions instantly disappeared. They quickly walked out and went to the general's tent. A general in golden armor looked at the four of them and said, "You're all Foundation Establishment Realm, there's a camp suitable for you," he ordered. "Take the four of you to Water Valley Camp, immediately set out, no delays." He then took out a talisman arrow and said, "There's only one whistling arrow, don't use it too easily." "Yes, sir." The four of them clasped their fists. Gu Qingshan received the whistling arrow and put it into her chest pocket. Leaving the camp, the four of them rode their spirit beasts and flew into the sky. A few minutes later. "How much longer can we fly for?" Zhang Fang asked. "Once they enter the battlefield, any flying target will become a living target for the demons. Unless they're a great cultivator, no one would dare to fly in the sky." Gu Qingshan glanced at the map and said, "After 100 miles we'll enter the battlefield, we'll have to land and move quickly." "Got it," everyone nodded, knowing what to do. No one said anything, but their expressions became cold. They're about to enter the battlefield. After a while, Gu Qingshan waved her hand. "Let's land." Everyone landed at the same time. In front of them was a mountain valley and a dense forest, but there wasn't a single bird or insect to be heard. As if the entire mountain valley had lost its life. Bai Haidong grabbed a handful of the wind and sniffed it. "For the past 3 days, there hasn't been any death aura here," he said. This seems to be his god's chosen thaumaturgy, but the other three didn't ask. No death aura means there aren't any intense battles. The few of them relaxed a little. Gu Qingshan said, "Let's get to know each other a bit first, that way we can split up." "That's how it should be. I'm an elemental cultivator, second stage water," Bai Haidong answered. "My sect is a sword sect, but I'm an expert with the spear," Zhang Feng said. "I'm a spirit beast master, I have a few scouting spirit beasts, and my martial arts skills are only SOSO, Li Chuchen said. Gu Qingshan nodded, saying, "I'm a sword cultivator," he quickly arranged. "I'll be the vanguard, Zhang Feng will cover the rear, Brother Chu Chen will place a few smaller spirit beasts to scout the surroundings, alright, one behind me as well, Bai Haidong will be in the middle, watch over the surroundings." Hearing that, the three of them answered at the same time. "Got it, this arrangement couldn't be any better." Li Chuchen also calmed down. He was afraid of running into some ignorant superior officer, so he ordered his spirit beasts to scout ahead. Battle-type spirit beasts aren't suitable for scouting, and scouting-type spirit beasts can't be the vanguard. Because if they run into a fierce demon, the demon will just grab and eat it, so it's useless. Raising a spirit beast is already very difficult. If it dies right away, the spirit beast master will feel a lot of pain. It's best for spirit beasts to be in the second position. They can move forward or behind, and can also be changed according to the situation. Once the real battle begins, they'll send out the corresponding spirit beasts to fight. Gu Qingshan took the earth sword in his hand and led the way into the forest. When the other three saw that he had an indifferent expression and moved without the slightest hesitation, they were slightly relieved and followed him in. 2 hours later, the four of them rested. "With our current speed, we'll reach Water Valley Camp by noon tomorrow," Gu Qingshan said. "I'll leave it to you, I'll only do my best," Zhang Feng crossed his arms and said. Li Chuchen and Bai Haidong also nodded. Just now, Gu Qingshan had displayed a lot of experience at the front line, be it in terms of marching or scouting. Everyone here was also a veteran of the battlefield, so it was only now that they finally recognized him as one of them. "Very well, I'll take care of the rest," Gu Qingshan didn't try to push it away and calmly said. In his past life, he was a strategic commander, so his experience in fighting demons isn't any less than anyone else's, so what he's doing right now is just his old job. After eating their rations, the four of them continued on their way. A few hours later, they finally made it through the forest and into the open field. "Stop!" Gu Qingshan suddenly stopped. He squinted his eyes, looking around. Faintly, he could feel a very faint spirit energy dispersing. Was there a battle on the field? When the three people behind him heard his shout, they all stopped in their tracks. "What is it?" Li Chuchen put his hand on the spirit beast bag and asked in a low voice. "Fellow Dao Seeker Bai, take a look again," Gu Qingshan spoke in a low voice. Hearing this, Bai Haidong stretched out his hand and grabbed the wind, bringing it to his nose and inhaling deeply. The smell of death isn't too strong, but the smell of blood is very heavy, and the stench of demons is the strongest, in that direction. Chapter 179. Gu Qingshan put her hand on her head and looked in that direction. The three of them exchanged glances. Zhang Feng couldn't help but ask, "What now?" They ran into demons so quickly without even knowing the situation, so the three of them were a bit hesitant. On this path, the strongest demons are at least Foundation Establishment Realm Peak, or even early Golden Core Realm. This place is still quite far from the front line, so the few powerful demons that wander around have already been cleared out by the Great Cultivators. The Great Cultivators have limited stamina, so it's already hard enough to deal with a group of demons several times their number. After clearing them out, they leave the rest to the Golden Core and Foundation Establishment Realm Cultivators to deal with the rest of the demons. The demons probably outnumber them, surrounding them and slowly whittling them down. "Let's go." As soon as Gu Qingshan said so, her figure quickly flew forward. The three of them were a bit surprised. They didn't think Gu Qingshan would make such a decision in just a few breaths worth of time. Zhang Feng spoke. We haven't even reached the camp yet and there's already a deal. He tapped his inventory bag, took out a spear, put it on his shoulder and chased after Gu Qingshan. Then let's go, as Bai Haidong spoke. He took out a cold dagger engraved with blue runes and followed closely behind. It wasn't until the three of them were far away that Li Chuchun saw himself being left behind by himself. He tapped his spirit beast bag and let out a blue-eyed tiger. Sitting on the tiger's back, he shouted, "Wait for me!" The blue-eyed tiger quickly ran. Li Chuchun quickly lowered his head and whispered into the tiger's ear. "Slow down a bit." The blue-eyed tiger let out a low roar and followed them, gradually slowing down. Gu Qingshan was still afraid that he wouldn't make it in time, so he tapped his spirit beast bag and let out the flame cloud chasing sky crane. "Senior, let me hear you," he said. Flame cloud chasing sky crane glanced at him, hesitated a bit, then let out a clear cry. The cry of the crane traveled far and wide in the wilderness. Sure enough, as soon as the crane cried, spirit energy waves came from that direction, as if it was trying its best to cast a spell. "Good job, let's fly close to the ground, let's get there quickly." Gu Qingshan jumped onto the flame cloud chasing sky crane. The white crane flapped its wings forcefully and turned into a fiery cloud, galloping across the desolate plains. The flame cloud chasing sky crane's speed was extremely fast. In just 10 breaths of time, it had arrived at the location. Gu Qingshan stood on the back of the crane and looked into the distance. Among the horde of demons, there were a few cultivators covered in blood, standing back to back, barely holding on. How could it be them? Gu Qingshan was taken aback and became anxious. The trapped cultivators were the 5 junior sisters that Ning Yuechan had brought with her during the semester examination. In front of them, a monk had lost an arm and was covered in blood. He kept chanting Thurni, using layers of golden light to fend off the countless demons. Sensing that someone was approaching, he looked over with bright eyes. Their gazes met, and they immediately understood each other's identity and situation. Gu Qingshan's heart skipped a beat and shouted, "Hold on!" Seeing how anxious she was, the monk suddenly smiled warmly. He formed a hand seal with one hand and chanted, Ongla Murga Gachaluo. This was a certain type of Thurni from Buddhism. The Thurni had great power, and only disciples of the Buddhist sect could cultivate it. As soon as he finished chanting, hundreds of golden swords appeared from the ground, forming a cluster, killing all the demons that tried to approach. After killing all the demons nearby, the golden swords hovered in the air. If any demons tried to approach again, the golden swords would automatically swing and chop off their heads. Such power caused the demons to feel fear. They quickly retreated, not daring to rush forward. After chanting, the monk closed his eyes, as if he was peacefully sleeping. His spirit energy waves suddenly disappeared. "He's dead." Noticing the change in his spirit energy, Gu Qingshan couldn't help but silently hang her head. She was still a step too late. As he let go of the earth sword, it disappeared into the void of space. A second later, the night rain appeared in Gu Qingshan's hand. It was only now that he entered the effective range of the bow. Rapid fire. Riding wind. From afar, the arrows flew towards the outer circle of the demons. The demons howled and fell to the ground. But there were too many of them, there was no way to kill them all in a short amount of time. Gu Qingshan quickly changed his title from Shaoqi Chaplain to Sword 15. He drew a demon-slaying arrow and placed it on the night rain. Bombardment. Piercing shot. Title skill. A sound shock. All 3 skills were activated at once. The demon-slaying arrow turned into a black shadow and shot out from the night rain. Boom! This arrow pierced through the layers of demons, hitting the most powerful crimson flame demon, smashing it to pieces before continuing forward. Countless demons were pierced through by this arrow, creating a large hole in their encirclement. The sound of the demon's slaying arrow made the demons around cover their heads, screaming in agitation. The encirclement's momentum slowed down a bit. Until now, the countless golden swords on the ground disappeared. Gu Qingshan followed the hole and entered the encirclement. As he entered the encirclement, Gu Qingshan did three things. He put the crane back into the spirit beast bag, put away the night rain, and changed his title to Shaoqi Chaplain. With the earth sword in hand, Gu Qingshan leapt at the nearest demon like a wolf, watching a monk die right in front of him, but he was too far away to save him in time. The anger in his heart had reached a boiling point. Die for me. The earth sword carried 60,000 tons of force, leaving a series of afterimages as it was swung around. With the increase in attack speed, wherever the earth sword went, the demons couldn't even react in time. Only to see that Gu Qingshan was clad in black armor, roaring as he charged forward. Wherever he went, the broken bones of the demons would explode, blood raining everywhere. Clang, 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 clang. He could hear the demons retaliating against him. But Gu Qingshan didn't care at all. After all, the reason he's wearing such a high-quality armor was for this moment of all-out killing. Bam! A piece of his shoulder plate was broken. Gu Qingshan didn't retreat at all. The earth sword dance was impenetrable. As long as a demon gets hit by it, they won't be able to retreat in one piece. Gu Qingshan's body followed the sword, circling around the encirclement. Wherever the demons tried to approach, he would rush forward and kill them all. With such a fierce attack in front of them, the trapped cultivators were finally able to escape from death's door. It's Senior Brother Gu. It's Bai Hua Sek's Senior Brother Gu. The 5 female cultivators all cheered. Being saved when they were about to die, this kind of surprise is enough to make them remember it for the rest of their lives. Don't let your guard down, protect yourselves, Gu Qingshan coldly shouted. The 5 female cultivators were taken aback for a moment before they regained their senses. They quickly huddled together and entered into battle mode again. But they still couldn't help but sneak glances at Gu Qingshan. Seeing Gu Qingshan charging at the demons like a mad demon, killing them as if they were livestock, the female cultivators were a bit dazed. Because he was taking most of the attacks by himself, the pressure on them was reduced a lot. From afar, another male voice came. I was wondering why you were running so fast, so you were saving the damsel in distress. Boom. The demons were pushed away again. Chapter 181. You take the left, I'll take the right, Gu Qingshan quickly said. Got it, Zhang Feng loudly replied. He's also a Shaoqi chaplain, as well as a Foundation Establishment peak cultivator. As soon as he used the spear's secret, half of Gu Qingshan's pressure was taken off. At this time, outside the encirclement, layers upon layers of frost appeared on the ground, freezing countless demons in place, unable to even lift their feet. I can freeze them for 5 breaths, hurry up? Bai Haidong's voice came. Very well. Gu Qingshan and Zhang Feng's eyes lit up. Both of them used their trump cards at the same time. Secret Art, Water Flow Severance. Secret Art, Dragon Leaving Mountain. 1 sword and 1 spear, turning into the Grim Reaper that harvests lives, killing the demons in front of them. Like a meat grinder, the 2 of them circled around the 5 female cultivators, clearing out all the demons around them. Their charge was too fast, and they only cared about killing the demons, so when they met, they crashed into each other with a clang. Fortunately, their armors are sturdy, and there's a small formation to deflect the impact. Borrowing the force of the collision, the 2 of them safely separated. We can still kill them one more time. Gu Qingshan looked at the circle of demons covered in frost from afar and said. Then let's do it again. Zhang Feng grabbed his spear and said. Go! Gu Qingshan shouted, wielding the earth sword in her hand. Both of them changed positions, using their full power. Secret Art, Crescent Slash. Secret Art, a dragon tail swing. A streak of moonlight and a dragon flew into the midst of the demons, slashing and slashing, only slowly retreating after a few dozen feet. Your spear technique isn't bad, Gu Qingshan commented. Your sword technique isn't bad either, Zhang Fang laughed. The two of them stood on the left and right to protect the female cultivators, but there weren't any demons left standing around them. The remaining demons in the distance saw that the situation was far from good, and quickly scattered in all directions. At this time, Li Chuchen also arrived. The group chased after them for a while before retreating. They came in front of the monk's body. After sighing, Gu Qingshan buried him. Only then did everyone sit down and take a short break. Your injuries aren't light, why don't you use healing pills? Gu Qingshan asked. We used it up on the way back, the female cultivators replied. Gu Qingshan then took some of Bai Hua Sek's herbs and gave them to the female cultivators. He then said, all of you heal up first, Li Chuchen and Bai Haidong stay on guard, Zhang Fang and I need to rest, all right? The three male cultivators responded. They looked at each other. Zhang Fang was fine since he came late, so he didn't suffer any injuries. But Gu Qingshan's armor was full of demon claw marks. Her shoulder armor was broken, revealing her blood-stained muscles. Looking around, the ground was littered with shapeless demon corpses. Not a single demon's blood could reach within 5 steps of the female cultivators. With a glance, the few of them knew what was going on. This young sword cultivator's combat ability is truly terrifying, no wonder he became a Shao-Qi chaplain at such a young age. Gu Qingshan hesitated for a while, but still didn't send a communication talisman to Ning Yuechan. First of all, the female cultivators have already been saved, and second, Ning Yuechan might be doing some kind of mission right now. If she gets distracted, she won't be able to leave and will be affected instead. Half an hour later, the female cultivator's injuries had recovered a bit. Gu Qingshan asked, why are you here? Lu Qingyan's injuries were the lightest, so she answered. We escaped from Water Valley Lake Camp and were chased all the way here. Gu Qingshan and Zhang Fang were both shocked. Zhang Fang asked, what happened to Water Valley Lake Camp? Lu Qingyan's expression was full of fear as she answered. The demons have all gone mad, attacking the camp without any regard for their lives. We really can't hold them off. Zhang Fang's cold gaze fell on Lu Qingyan, then softened a bit and said, don't be afraid, we're here. Lu Qingyan noticed his kindness, so she looked up to see that he was a male cultivator wearing a Shao-Qi chaplain armor. She couldn't help but feel a bit more assured. Gaining merit is too hard. Even now they're only soldiers. For him to be able to become a Shao-Qi chaplain, he must have gone through a lot of bloodshed, someone with real skills. Lu Qingyan gratefully nodded. Seeing her reaction, Zhang Fang smirked. Gu Qingshan went silent for a bit, then suddenly asked, when the camp was attacked, what did the most powerful demons look like? Lu Qingyan thought for a bit, then answered, there were too many demons, I was too panicked at the time so I didn't see any that stood out. How did the camp get destroyed? Gu Qingshan asked again. The defensive formations lost their effect one by one, then the offensive formations also started to have problems. Without the support of formations, the demons only needed to attack a few times before they managed to break into the camp. Hearing that, Gu Qingshan fell into thought. In a large-scale war, formations have always been humanity's strongest defense. If they can't break the formations, the demons can't fight against human cultivators in close combat, they can only passively take a beating. That's why the demons always come up with all sorts of plans to destroy humanity's formations as soon as the war begins. But I don't know what method the demons used this time. Since Gu Qingshan isn't a formation user, even if he's a reincarnated person, he can't just guess without thinking. He has to take a look at the camp's formation plate before he can make a preliminary judgment. After thinking for a bit, Gu Qingshan suddenly tapped her inventory bag and took out a whistling arrow. She infused her spirit energy into the arrow. A sharp noise was heard as a green light flew straight to the sky, visible even from afar. A few moments later, A Taoist riding a spirit beast came. His spirit energy pressure was almost solid. The injured female cultivators couldn't take it anymore and knelt on the ground. Noticing their situation, the Taoist retracted his spirit energy pressure. Only one whistling arrow can be used. Unless there's a big accident, it can't be used carelessly, don't you know that? The Taoist sternly asked. As Gu Qing-shan explained the situation, the other female cultivators also added on. The Taoist's expression slowly became heavy. Take out your badges, I'll take a look first, he ordered. They all threw their badges up in the air. The Taoist first looked at the female cultivators' badges. These badges can record the number of demons a cultivator killed, but only high-ranking cultivators of humanity have the right to see it. Heaven's limit sex disciples, not bad at all, killing quite a few demons on the way. The Taoist's expression softened a bit. He took Gu Qing-shan's and the others' badges, then glared at Li Chuchen. Li Chuchen lowered his head, his legs trembling. The Taoist returned their badges and said, "The 2 Shao-Chi chaplains saved you in time, 5 merit each, 1 for Bai Hai Dong." The 3 of them were glad. Military merit is the most practical thing to get. The Taoist ordered. Very well, all of you head south, there's a general guarding the camp there, you'll temporarily settle down there and wait for further orders. Yes, the Taoist priest nodded slightly and flew in the direction of the Water Valley camp. What realm is he? Can you tell? Zhang Feng asked. His realm is too far away from ours, I can't tell for sure, but I'm guessing he's an ascended realm. Gu Qing-shan thought about it. Let's go, Zhang Feng sighed. We'll go to the camp first and settle down the female cultivators. That's right, we need to leave right away. That you're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.